show. And at this time, we'd also like to introduce our judge today, Mr. Frank Ward. Frank is from Orland, California. He works for Ridley Block, a division of Alltech. He currently raises show steers alongside his wife, Christina, and sons, Will and Chance. In addition to judging numerous state fairs and prospect shows across the country, he's judged the National Junior Hereford Expo, OYE Heifer Show, and the North American just last year. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our market steer judge today, Mr. Frank Ward, to the green chips. Results of Class 30 of your Junior Angus Show. In first place, entry number 307, Colburn Sarah's Dream, 3190, exhibited by Brody Leo of Snelling, California, with a 2.39 weight per day of age. In second place, entry number 318, Soul Lucy, 3104, exhibited by Josie Phillips of Maysville, Kentucky, with a 2.37 weight per day of age. In third place, entry number 310, Triple C Frontier Gal, 669, exhibited by Delaney Jones of Harrod, Ohio. Fourth place goes to entry number 309, exhibited by Sydney Sanders of Leesburg, Ohio. And fifth place, entry number 315, exhibited by Houston Furry of Sullivan, Indiana.
Another really good set of January heifers out here. Young lady's heifer that leads off really sound in terms of her feet and legs. She's angular and feminine up through that front end. Powerful in terms of her depth and spring of rib. You get behind her, really expressive down that top and thick and square through that hip. Young lady's heifer that comes in second. Another female that gets out and covers her track. A female that I like in terms of her quality. She's very angular up through that front end. Maybe not quite as stout as the heifer that leads off, but a beautiful profiling, really sound moving individual. Big, powerful heifer that comes in third, really stands on a big foot, a lot of substance and bone. Probably not quite as fluid in terms of her movement as the two heifers that start the class, but powerful heifer in terms of her overall depth and spring of rib. Young man's heifer that comes next, another long-sided individual, maybe gets a little more open through the point of her shoulders as the heifers compared to the above her. Young man's heifer that comes next, you really appreciate the depth and spring of rib, the looseness of the design, gets a little more open through the point of her shoulders. The young man's heifer that completes the class, just a nice balance, really a moderate frame female. You'd like to power her up.
Second call, Class 33, 34, and 35 Angus. Second call, Class 33, 34, and 35 Angus. Your Class 31 results of your Junior Angus show: in first place, entry number 321, PVF Missy 3302, exhibited by Ella Ethington of Avon, Illinois, with a 2.37 weight per day of age. In second place, entry number 323, PVF SFA Blackbird 3303, exhibited by Ashton Tillo of Villa Ridge, Illinois, with a 2.09 weight per day of age. Third place goes to entry number 331, Conley Honey Bear 3762, exhibited by Rob Oakley of Livingston, Tennessee, with a 2.62 weight per day of age. Fourth place goes to entry number 335, SCC Phyllis 315, exhibited by Ben Selmeyer of Mara, Illinois. In fifth place, entry number 333, exhibited by Keegan Long of Bath, Michigan. And sixth place, entry number 329, exhibited by Bo Daniel Ware. This is your third and final call, Class 33 and 35. Third and final call, Class 33 and 35 to the Makeup Arena.
Really good heifer to start this January class. Beautiful up through that front end. Super sound in terms of her feet and legs. Love her in terms of her depth and spring of rib. Lays in neat through the point of her shoulders. Just got a lot of quality and look in a really powerful package. You love her in terms of her shape down that top. Really thick and square through that hip. Heifer that comes in second, you appreciate the depth and spring of rib. Not quite as neat through the point of her shoulders and up through that front end, but powerful in terms of her overall rib. If heifers you put in motion really gets out, covers her track. Young man's heifer that comes in next, another female that can get out and cover her track, gets a little shorter up through that front end as compared to the cattle above her. Heifer that comes next, you appreciate the depth and spring of rib, the udder development and spacing, and overall quality in that female, just not quite as stout as the heifers above her. Young man's heifer coming in next, you really appreciate the udder development and overall quality in that heifer. Maybe not quite as overall stoutness in terms of her natural shape down that top through that lower stifle. The young lady's heifer that completes the class, you appreciate the depth and spring of ribs. She's got some dimension down that top. Just simply like to free her up in terms of her movement.
Well, good afternoon. I think we've got really a nice trio of steers to start the class this first class today. I think, if you compare it to last year, the top end of this class, I think, is light years better than the calves that won the first class last year, as far as I'm concerned. I think this duo of steers is really, really nice. I think I like the steer that starts the class just in terms of his balance. I think that calf balances up extremely well on the side view. He's a calf that's very smooth made, kind of deceiving when you get your hands on him and you get behind him. That one's got a big back and a big quarter in him. I like him on the move. I think he moves free and easy enough off of both ends. Really nice calf. Young lady does a nice job showing him. I like the boxy build and just the burliness of the calf here in second. He's got great big feet and big legs. Doesn't surprise you when you get up on him. He's got a giant back in him. He's a calf that's maybe got a notch more shoulder in him, I think, when we compare him to the steer that wins the class, the one that's certainly sound, stout, very nice individual. Tough duo right there. I like the calf in third as well. This one's maybe got a little more performance in him, I think, when we compare him to the two steers directly above him. And I'll be honest with you, he never really gives me a good look. Calf just maybe has a little bit of an attitude. When we get him on the move, he just gets a little tighter, maybe a little steeper and straighter up front, but I'm just not so sure that that's just not the way he's acting, because when you study that rascal, there's a ton of quality in him. He's got a big top, a big hip, and I think he's really big-legged and good to look at. Nice calf as well. This yellow one, when he came into class, I thought, oh, there's one, and I still think he's awful nice. He's a calf, again, tremendous length of body, great big top in him. I think when you get behind him, this calf maybe gives up just in terms of expression of his hip when we compare him to the three above him, but that's a really nice market steer. Calf's been fed well, presented extremely well. When we ask him to leave, he maybe just gets a little tighter in his spine, maybe a little more restricted in his structure, but that's an awful nice one. I like the presence of the calf coming in fifth. This one's stout. He's got a tremendous amount of muscle in him. Young lady's done a very nice job presenting him and getting him shown today. For me today, he just gets a little more upright off his front end. Maybe need to watch this one go a little better. If he had a little better set of running gear, I think that one would stand quite a bit higher in class today. Really a nice, intriguing calf that comes out next in sixth, the mousy-colored steer. You got to admire this one just for his foot size and his bone work. He's a calf that's got a tremendous look up through his front end. I think when we compare him to some of the other calves above him, he just gets a little out-horsed just in terms of his rib cage. We want to see this one just deeper in his forerib and flank. But you talk about big legs and big feet, that one's got it in a really nice presence. Next steers coming in line, they're calves that maybe just have some issues in terms of their structure, cattle that maybe aren't quite as far along in terms of their condition. I think they're nice cattle in terms of length of body. I think they're cattle that have some muscle in them. Just get a little out-horsed today. Congratulations.
Second call, Class 4 market steers. Second call, Class 4 market steers.
We get these class winners back out here in our second junior yearling division, really a stout division. Heifer that wins that first class, beautiful in terms of her profile. You love her in terms of her neck and the quality up through that front end. Really a big-footed, sound-moving individual that gets out and really covers her track. Tremendous amount of depth and spring of rib, and just a really high-quality individual. Heifer that wins the second class, a beautiful profile in female, more moderate frame female. Heifer's super sound in terms of her feet and legs. You like the freshness the heifer's in. Really lays in neat through the point of her shoulders. You put her in motion, super sound in terms of her feet and legs. The heifer's got some shape down that top through her quarter. Heifer that wins the third class, a deep rib, bold sprung, soggy middled individual, getting a little more condition on her than a couple of other heifers, but appreciate the depth and spring of rib, super sound in terms of her feet and legs. Then the heifer that wins that last class, just a big, powerful individual, super sound in terms of her feet and legs, still has a lot of quality and look from the side. You get behind her, really expressive down that top and thick and square through that hip. Really a strong division out here. Let's give them a round of applause and we'll go select your champions.
First and second call, all champion and reserve champion Angus females to the makeup arena. This is your first and second call, all champion and reserve champion Angus females to the makeup arena.
We bring that second place back out here. Just a tremendously deep rib, bold sprung individual. You like the spacing on her udder development. She's sound in terms of her feet and legs. Not quite the neatness up through the point of her shoulder as that heifer, but a really good female.
Attention in the barns, attention in the barns, Sim Solution exhibitors. Your show will begin at 3:45. Once again, the Sim Solution exhibitors, your show will begin at 3:45. Your Class 32 results of your Junior Angus show. In first place, entry number 341, BCII Henning Sandy, 223, exhibited by Josie Phillips of Maysville, Kentucky, with a weight per day of age of 2.49. In second place, entry number 344, SCC APB Royal Blackbird 3101, exhibited by Riley Sudrith of Catawba, North Carolina, with a weight per day of age of 2.65. In third place, entry number 343, PHF Georgina 399, exhibited by Austin Patel of Cynthiana, Kentucky, with a 2.41 weight per day of age. Fourth place goes to entry number 330, exhibited by Owen Fennig of Coldwater, Ohio. Fifth place, entry number 338, exhibited by Isaac Rhodes of Newberry, Indiana. And sixth place, entry number 342, exhibited by Jaden Patton of Economy, Indiana. This is your third and final call, all champion and reserve champion Angus females. Third and final call, all champion and reserve champion Angus females. Please make your way to the makeup arena.
Really a nice set of November heifers out here. The one that wins the class really got a beautiful udder, like the bull calf stoutness. The cow really sound in terms of her feet and legs, has plenty of quality. Just a really complete, nice pair. Second place, this cow is due, I think, in December. A female, just really straighten her lines, got a lot of length of body, gonna have a nice udder, just not quite as stout as a pair that leads off this class.
This is your third and final call, Class 4 market steers. Third and final call, Class 4 market steers. Congratulations, your champion junior yearling Angus female goes to entry number 341, BCAA Henning Sandy 223, exhibited by Josie Phillips of Maysville, Kentucky. Your reserve champion junior yearling female Division II goes to entry number 302, FCF BEF Proven Queen 315, exhibited by Maddie Coulter of Wentzville, Missouri. Your champion of bred and owned junior yearling female Division II goes to entry number 323. PVF SFA Blackbird 3303, exhibited by Ashton Dillow of Villa Ridge, Illinois. Congratulations to our Angus exhibitors. This is your final call. All champion and reserve champion Angus females to the makeup arena immediately.
Single entry out here, but a beautiful cow, beautiful udder, a lot of quality. I like the spacing, the teat size. You look at the heifer calf, just a lot of quality, super sound. I think that's just a kind of female to keep you in the cattle business.
This is your first call, Class 5 market steers. First call, Class 5 market steers to the makeup arena. Results from Class number 1 of your 2024 NAILE Junior Steer Show, Class 1. First place goes to entry number 27, exhibited by Lacey Campbell of Vero Beach, Florida. Second place goes to entry number 43, exhibited by Lily Decker of St. John's, Michigan. Third place goes to entry number 116, exhibited by Lauren McIntosh of Winchester, Ohio. Fourth place, entry number 55, exhibited by Mallory English of Vero Beach, Florida. In fifth place, entry number 113, exhibited by Jenna Marvin of Valrico, Florida. Sixth place, entry number 56, Delaney Faison. Seventh place, entry number 158, Dallas Rebels. Eighth place, entry number 301, exhibited by Woodrow Wade. And ninth place, entry number 300, exhibited by Ada Rumbaugh. Now exhibiting in the market steer ring is class number 2.
We get these two pairs back out here as class winners in our senior yearling division. It's a testament to the Angus breed, what a maternal breed they are, and how sound and functional they are. The November pair, probably a little stouter in terms of his bone, maybe not quite as neat up through that front end. Maybe I'd like to make the teats a little shorter, but that's a really outstanding pair with a pretty stout bull calf on it. Our second class winner, just a beautiful cow. Love the fancy heifer calf. Love the udder levelness, the spacing, the teat size. I think just a great set of pairs out here for your Angus this division. Let's give them a round of applause and we'll go select your champions.
I think maybe a more challenging class here in our second class of the day, but I think after you kind of sort through them, there's two steers, in my opinion, that surface to the top, and I think the black and white calf wins it rather handily. This is a stout calf, calf that's got a tremendous amount of muscle from his blade back, stands on a big foot, has a tremendous substance of bone. I think when we get these cattle on the profile, he's good enough looking. I like the way he ties out of his top side of his shoulder. I think that calf's smooth enough shouldered. When we get behind him, he's got a tremendous quarter in him, like his rib shape. One thing I really like about him is when I get my hands on him, that calf handle's extremely smooth. He's been well fed. Again, nice calf. If we're going to get really critical of him, we could just loosen him up a nickel in his structure, just free him up a bit as he gets around the ring. And same goes for the calf in second. I'm not going to say that his structure's perfect, but I think when we just look at the fundamentals of a market steer, this steer kind of fits the bill. He's stout, he's muscular, he's good-bodied. When you handle him, I think he's got enough on him. Sure, we'd like to change him up front and maybe rock his shoulder back a bit, just maybe free him up to where he gets off his front end a little easier. Probably like to free him up in his hock and his foot too as he moves around the ring. But I just think from a power standpoint and a composition standpoint, he's second pretty handily. I like the calf in third, probably as good as any of them when I get him out here on the profile. This one, when we just set him still, we really like his length and extension, his levelness of design. He's a calf that's very sound as he gets around the ring, but he gives up so much in terms of muscularity when we get directly behind him and compare him to the two steers directly in front of him. But that's a well-made, very nicely balanced, good-fed steer. Nice job. I like the black steer in fourth as well. This one's just kind of a meat and potatoes calf. He's extremely smooth-sided. He's a calf that's very sound as he gets around the ring. Really like that calf for his forerib and flank. I think he's got a nice rib cage in him. He's a calf, though, when you get behind him, he's the narrowest of the three directly in front of him. That's why he's fourth today, but that's a nice, well-balanced, nice-made calf. The blue roan calf that comes next in line, you know, I think this calf's one of the better fed calves in the ring. When you handle this calf, I think he handles really nice over his rib cage. I think in terms of muscularity, he's average. I like his rib shape and dimension. For me today, I'd just like to change this calf again in terms of his structure as well. I'd like to free him up off of both ends, just see him move out a little freer as he gets around the ring. The next steer in line has a striking look from the side. He's extremely long-necked and long-sided. You like that steer's levelness and length of hip. He's a calf that really is just maybe one of the better looking, more balanced calves in the class. When we get behind him, again, calf that we just need to put more muscle and more dimension in him. He's also a steer. We could change him just a nickel in his structure, but I think that's a high quality individual. Mousy colored calf next in line. Sure, maybe he's kind of a curly haired calf and maybe not the most attractive in terms of his color, but that's a nice calf just in terms of his design. Looks like he's been easy to feed. He's got some shape to him. He just maybe doesn't have the bone or the presence or the power to stand any higher today, but I do believe that that's a nice calf in his own right. Like the calf next in line as well. He's got a really nice silhouette, really nice design in terms of his hip and length of top. One we just need to maybe give him a bit more flex and reach off of his front end to be more competitive, but I think that's a nice calf. Next calf in line as well is striking from the side, just maybe gets his shoulder rocked too far forward, maybe just a little steep and straight off of both ends. Same goes for the black calf next in line. Extremely well presented, cattle that are very attractive in terms of their look, but when we just study them structurally, they're too upright off of both ends, maybe hampers their ability to move around the ring. When we study the calf that rounds out the class, from his shoulder blade back, you really like him. Has a tremendous amount of bone, big square hip, but we need to design him different up front as well. Too steep and straight up front, he's wanting to buck a knee, just getting a little too opened up to be any more competitive today.
Additional results of your Junior Angus show, your Class 33 results in first place entry number 347, and also your reserve champion, a senior yearling female, goes to KCC Cheyenne 9122, exhibited by Logan Davis of Bidwell, Ohio. Second place in Class 33 goes to entry number 348, Whitestone Miss Famous 3016, exhibited by Griffin Spencer of Bluffton, South Carolina. Your Class 35 winner and also your champion senior yearling female goes to entry number 354, SAF Lucy Pride 2103, exhibited by Brianna Smith of Russell Springs, Kentucky. Now exhibiting in the Angus ring is a selection of your Grand and Reserve Grand Champion Angus female. And ladies and gentlemen, before our judge, Mr. Brett Barber, goes out and picks your champion, put your hands together for all the Angus exhibitors here in the ring, as well as Mr. Brett Barber of Channing, Texas.
Well, before we select our champion Angus, I'd like to thank the North American and the Mark McCulley Angus Association for the invite. It's always a pleasure to sort cattle here, and this, I think I've done it 3 times here in Louisville, and this is by far the most outstanding set of cattle, so my hat's off to you Angus breeders, the envy of the cattle industry, and I certainly appreciate that. I'm not going to go back and talk to these divisions. I think that there's 2 heifers out here that stand out in my opinion. I want my heifer calves to look like heifer calves, be youthful, be sound. Every animal out here, I'm really tickled with how sound and functional they are. The bigger cattle, I want them to be stout and still have the look and eye appeal. And with that, let's give your Angus exhibitors a round of applause, and I'll go select your champion in reserve.
Congratulations, your champion Angus female goes to entry number 194, Conley DT Miss Lucy 3701, exhibited by Cambria Cook of Clovis, California. And your reserve champion Angus female goes to entry number 291, CK3 Hawk Sandy L37, exhibited by Harley Henley of Angola, Indiana. Congratulations, Angus exhibitors. First call, Class 5, market steers. First call, Class 5. Official results of Class 2 of your market steers. In first place, entry 137, exhibited by Gracie O'Neill from Danville, Indiana, with a steer weighing 1,265 pounds. Second place, entry number 138, steer weighing 1,220 pounds, exhibited by Nolan Osborne of Perry, Georgia. Third place, entry number 28, with a steer weighing 1,227 pounds, exhibited by Tyler Canaday of Rio Grande, Ohio. In fourth place, entry number 79, exhibited by Liberty Hendricks. Fifth place, entry number 11, exhibited by Sarah Barron. Sixth place, entry number 193, exhibited by Lucille Talton. In seventh place, entry number 78, exhibited by Kyra Henderson. And eighth place, entry number 196, exhibited by Caitlin Van Der Weel. This is your second call, Class 5 market steers. Second call, Class 5 market steers. Congratulations. Your grand champion bred and owned Angus female goes to entry number 138, SSF Black Cap, and 123, exhibited by Piper Cates of Modoc, Indiana. Your reserve grand champion bred and owned Angus female goes to entry number 288, Meyer LK Forever Lady 3106, exhibited by Alexis Colling of Bowling Green, Missouri. Congratulations once again to all of our Angus exhibitors. Third and final call, Class 5 market steers. Third and final call, Class 5.
And I think another really nice trio on the top end of this class. I like the yellow steer. I think he's just got a cool presence about him. He's kind of being just a little naughty out here. This one will just settle in and relax and go. He's really nice on the move. He's a calf that's got a lot of extension up front, one that's got a big back in him when you get your hands on him. That calf handles relatively smooth over his 10th to 13th rib. I think he's got enough on him. I just like the calf's presence. I like his foot size. We might relax him just a little bit in his shoulder, but I think that's an extremely nice steer that's got a big back in him, nice hip, and just a lot of quality. Same goes for the black steer directly behind him. I think the difference is he probably just isn't as bold right behind his shoulder as the yellow calf that wins the class. But I think there's a lot of quality in this calf as well. He's got big feet. He's extremely sound. He's got a big soft rib cage in him. He's a calf that, again, handles with enough condition on him today. I think two really nice calves at the top end. The problem steer for me today in the class is the calf in third. This is one striking individual. I think he's just as cool as they come on the side profile. The way his neck ties out of the top side of his shoulder. He's got virtually no chest and a really clean neck in him. He's a calf that's level in its design, big hipped, big bone. Problem is when we get our hands on him, this calf is just too raw today. I think if we had another 30, 45 days on this one, feeding him hard, we'd have a different individual. But presented to a T, that one's just dialed today. Maybe just not quite soft enough in terms of his condition. I like the feeding ability of the steer that comes in 4. This is a big-bodied, bold-made one. When you study him on a 3/4, that one's got a tremendous amount of shape and dimension to his rib cage. He's big and bold in his top line, got a great big quarter in him. Today he just gets a little plainer, maybe a little staler up front when we compare him to the 3 steers directly in front of him, but that's an awful good market steer. I like the orange baldy that comes next in line as well. He's big and stout, very powerful, maybe just isn't smooth enough today. The way his shoulder ties into his forerib, he maybe just gets a little low in his pins as he goes, but that one's got a tremendous amount of muscle, lots of bone and foot. Just need to smooth him up to make him more competitive today. Nice calf. The black calf coming next in line, you like him as well. I think that's one a lot like our calf in third. He just needs more days on feed to get to where his center body will drop. That one's got a very neat presence about him. He's very neat and tucked up through his front end and very attractive on the profile. He's got a big back and a big hip. Tremendous amount of bone. We just need to soften him up in his rib cage today to be more competitive, but really nice calf. Same goes, I like this gray calf that comes next in line. Standing still, I think this one moves up into maybe the third hole rather handily. It's when we set him in motion when he's got some issues, wants to get outside of himself as he goes. A calf that maybe just isn't quite sound enough when compared to some of the other calves in this division. But in terms of market steer composition, I love him. He's extremely muscular. He's been fed well. He's smooth made. Just need to change the way he goes off his rear too. I like the black steer next in line as well. That one's extremely attractive. Again, one today though that just needs more days on feed. When I got in on him and handled him, he was there at the top of his class. And I really like that calf in terms of his presence, his bone, his foot. It's just when we get our hands on him, he's just a little too dry today. Maybe he isn't quite ready to go. Give him 45 more days, and I think we've got a different individual. The calf next in line is one that's maybe pushing a little too much condition. We haven't said that all day, but he's starting to load up in his front end, up through his neck and his chest, just getting a little extra on him. But when we look at him in just terms of being good cattle, he is that. He's big-bodied, he's muscular, he's sound enough. We could change him in his structure a bit up front, but I think that's a good, honest market steer as well. The calf that rounds out the class, again, one that's been presented extremely well. He's a calf that's good in his lines. We just need to change his structural integrity off of both ends today to make him more competitive. Nice duo on the top end.
First call, Class 6 market steers. First call, Class 6 market steers. Second call, Class 6, Market Steers. Second call, Class 6, Market Steers. Official results of class number 3 of your steers show. In first place, entry number 194, the steer weighing 1,298 pounds, exhibited by Ella Totsky of Baroda, Michigan. In second place, entry number 134, steer weighing 1,288 pounds, Carson Oliver from Bellevue, Florida. In third place, entry number 152, steer weighing 1,299 pounds, exhibited by Gavin Ransom of Boswell, Indiana. Fourth place, entry number 192, exhibited by Logan Sudith. Fifth place, entry number 141, exhibited by Destiny Potter. Sixth place, entry number 90, exhibited by Brody Ingram. Seventh place, entry number 83, exhibited by Camden Hill. Eighth place, entry number 31, exhibited by Carly Cochran. And ninth place, entry number 201, exhibited by Brayley Ware. This is your third and final call, steer class 6. Third and final call, class 6.
I think we've got two really competitive steers at the top end of this class. They're both different in terms of their type and kind. I don't think you could make two cattle more different. I like the black steer just in terms of power. When you study this calf in terms of just a 3/4 angle, I mean, he's opened up inside his skeleton. He's got a wide chest, a huge back in him, big forearm. You get behind him, he definitely doesn't disappoint you. I think when the young lady gets him set there on the profile, he's a boxy built, just round-bodied, stout individual. Are there some things we'd like to change about him? For sure. He maybe gets just ever so slightly upright out of his shoulder. We'd change him there, and we might just lift his pin bones up a nickel, but I just like the power and how smooth that calf is. Really a stout individual. The calf next in line, I think, is striking from the side, and he definitely has that advantage over the calf in first. But when we get up on these cattle and get behind him, he just gives some of that overall dimension down his back and through his quarter. But this calf is made extremely well. He's perfect in his hind leg and hip design, very sound and agile as he gets around the ring. I just want to give him more power. He actually weighs less than the calf that wins the class, just not packed full of quite as much muscle. I love the presence in the calf in third as well. This calf on the side profile I might like as good as any. I think this calf has a really good balance in terms of his lines and symmetry. He's a calf that's very sound, again, off of both ends. A lot of reach as he gets around the ring. For me today, I just need to power him up when I get behind him. Need to give him more back and more quarter as he leaves, but he's a good-looking rascal, especially on the side view. I like the power and productivity of the black baldy calf next in line. He's a big-ribbed, very, very muscular individual. We need to change this calf off his rear, too, as he gets around the ring. Maybe just doesn't flex and reach like he needs to, but that's an awful good market steer. Chuck full of muscle. He's been fed every bit as good as anything in the class. Nice job, young man. I like the practicality of this gold calf coming next in line. He's big-bodied. He's extremely soft. He's an easy feeding kind of a calf. Maybe just not quite as attractive. Gives up some of that look when we view him from the side, but that's a productive individual. He's big in his forerib, deep in his flank. Looks like he's just been a dream to feed all along. Nice and sound as well. Just needs a little more look to be competitive. The white calf next in line, he's the one with the look, right? This one's lots of extension up through his front end. I think he's very, very well made just in terms of his line. He's long-topped and long-hipped, and as he moves, he's got quite a bit of flex and range off of his skeleton. He's a calf, though. We need to just give him more power and shape and dimension in his rib cage. I don't think muscle's an issue there. We just need to soften him up when we get our hands on him. He's a calf that just gets a little raw today. Nice individual. The one I'm kind of disappointed in today is the red calf. I just can't see him today, bud, but this thing's got some huge features and just one that I know is hard to make in terms of breeding one like that. It's got a tremendous amount of bone. He's square and wide, and I would have loved to have seen what he'd look like if he'd have got out here and just moved for us. But today, he's just not giving me that look. I know he's a better calf than where he's at, but it's hard to say when he's not leading today. Good job hanging on to him. I know that's a tough one right there because that's a very high quality individual, and I hate doing that to that one. I like the red or the black calf next in line. He's just a good solid calf. He's got a great big rib cage in him. He's a steer that handles correctly in terms of his finish today. Just gets a little upright up front off of his front end. Calf that's got some muscle and look. Nice job. The next calf in line, the young man told me he's got a bit of an attitude today as well, so they weren't able to pull his legs like he'd like to. I think that's good livestock right there. This was a tough class all the way through. That calf's got some length, some extension. It looks like he fed well, and he's full of muscle. Just sounds like he's got too much of an attitude to get him looking the way he needs to look. Nice class.
First call, Class 7 market steers. First call, Class 7 market steers. Attention in the barns, this is your first call, Class 1 and Class 2 percentage Simmentals. First call, Class 1 and Class 2 percentage Simmental heifers to the makeup arena. Official results of Class number 4 of your Junior Steer Show. In first place, entry number 66, steer weighing 1,347 pounds, exhibited by Addison Gilbert of Decatur, Indiana. Second place goes to entry number 19, steer weighing 1,338 pounds, exhibited by Kendall Bishop of Springfield, Ohio. Third place, entry number 176, steer weighing 1,333 pounds, exhibited by Dax Siebert of Maxville, Kansas. In fourth place, entry number 302, exhibited by Lily Williams of Keithville, Louisiana. Fifth place, entry number 107, exhibited by Trip Lewis of Wynwood, Oklahoma. Sixth place, entry number 200, exhibited by Ryan Waddle. In seventh place, entry number 186, exhibited by Adeline Sorgan. And eighth place, entry number 10, exhibited by Alex Barnard. Now exhibiting in the market steer ring is class number 5. This is your second call, Class 7 market steers. Second call, Class 7 market steers. This is your second call, Class 1 and 2 percentage Simmentals. Second call, Class 1 and 2. Third and final call, Class 1 and 2 percentage Simmental heifers. Third and final call, Class 1 and 2 percentage Simmentals. Market steer exhibitors, do not forget the market steer buyer is at the top of the ramp. Once again, market steer exhibitors, the market steer buyer is located at the top of the ramp. First call, Class 3 percentage Simmentals. First call, Class 3 percentage Simmentals. Third and final call, Class 7 market steers. Third and final call, Class 7 market steers. Once again, Classes 1 and 2 percentage Simmentals should be in the makeup arena.
Well, I think we got three right here. The water's gotten really deep, and I think a guy could justify whatever you want to do right here. These two bigger steers, though, they kind of fit together for me. I think the difference is when you get up on these cattle, this white calf, maybe when you're back off of him, you don't realize just how much real power that calf has, but he's got a great big back in him. He's a calf that's got a huge hip, tremendous amount of muscle, and he's got a great look when we view him from the side. I think all these cattle, they've just got a tremendous look, and the amount of muscle they have in them's crazy. But I think that's what sorts 1 and 2. It kind of be how these cattle are built underneath in the lower third of their skeleton. I think the calf that wins the class, he's wider chested. I think he carries that width all the way back. And as we watch him go, he's just a wider base calf. I think he's got more true dimension in him than the calf that falls in second. Now the calf in second, that we haven't seen a better one from the side view today. This one is striking from the side. He is presented to a T. I really like this calf just in terms of his look and his design. It's when he goes that we start to question him. He maybe gets a little flatter down low, gives up some in terms of overall power compared to the steer directly in front of him. But those are 2 extremely nice calves. And the calf in third is the same way. You know, he's kind of my style as well. He's a boxy built, stout individual. But I think when we get him out here against these other 2 calves, he just gets maybe a little bit staler up through his front end. He's got a little extra chest in him, but he's a big back, big quartered steer. And as he moves away, he maybe just wants to get a little different off his hind leg as he goes and he moves away from us. But I think that's a chunky built, boxy built one that's extremely well fed, got a lot of power in him as well. Just like to change the way he moves off his back leg. I like this white calf next in line. Again, one that's got a killer look from the side. He's extremely well presented as well. A calf, though, I think in terms of power, you just get outpowered today by the 3 steers directly above you. But this is a good calf that's got tremendous amount of shape down his top. I think when we compare him to the calf in fifth directly behind him, he's just got more top shape coming out of the top side of his shoulder all the way through his hip. Nice calf. I like the calf here that comes in fifth. This one, you know, when you first look at him, you really like him because, again, his design is so perfect. His look is so good. He's a calf that's got a big leg under him and a big foot. He's a calf, though, I think he just doesn't get around quite as well as the 4 steers above him. Maybe not as much true shape as either packed onto his skeleton, but that's a good calf. Very, very nice calf. Sorry you had to stand in fifth today. And as we get into the black steer in sixth, that calf, another steer that you really got to like him for all the fundamentals of a really nice market steer. He's got the top shape. He's got the rear end in him. He's a calf when we handle him. He's been fed extremely well. He maybe doesn't balance as good in terms of his underline as he gets a little deeper in his forerib and shallower in his flank, but that's an extremely muscular individual. You just got in a tough class today. This is by far the toughest class we've seen all day. That's an awful good calf. Same goes for the young man's calf next in line. He's a calf that you just like him for his doing ability, but that's also why he's down where he's at, because he gets a little plainer about his front end, starting to push a little extra condition in his brisket, maybe just not as stout-legged and big-boned some of the other calves above him, but that's a good, honest calf as well. A lot of quality in this class, like I said. This one coming next, when you just walk him on the side view, he's got big legs and big feet, and he takes a long, fluid stride off of both ends. He's a calf, again, we just like to change his underline balance. Gets a little deeper in his chest, maybe tucked up a bit in his flank, and maybe gives up a little muscle to be more competitive today, but that's an awful good one that's got a lot of quality, a lot of design about him. Steer next in line, he just gets a little straighter for me today, maybe just not quite as free moving as the steers above him. Again, a calf, the young man's done a tremendous job feeding him and getting him presented. He just doesn't have the structural integrity to stand any higher today. And the calf that rounds out the class, again, another good market steer. For me today, though, this calf just gets a little more harsh in his rib as we get our hands on him. We'd like to change him right there. Nice individual, good class.
Second call, Class 3, percentage Simmental heifer. Second call, Class number 3. At this time, we'd like to welcome those ringside joining us here in Freedom Hall as we begin our percentage Simmental heifer show. This time, we'd like to recognize our judge today, Mr. Webb Fields from Bryan, Texas. Fields grew up showing Simmental and Simmental influence cattle across the country as an active member of both the state and national Simmental youth programs. Fields Cattle, the current family enterprise in which Webb is an active participant, was born from those junior-focused cattle that he and his sister successfully showed at all levels. Fields Cattle is now one of the preeminent Simmental and Simbra programs in Texas. After attending Texas A&M University as a member of the 2010 livestock judging team, where Fields received top honors at multiple contests, including high individual and cattle reasons at the national event. Webb has since worked in multiple roles within the industry, including sire procurement management for a reputable AI firm, manager of the Texas A&M University Beef Center, as well as a stint as the executive director for a breed association. Currently, Fields is the service manager for the South region of Transova Genetics. Webb has evaluated cattle of multiple breed types across a wide variety of shows throughout the country. Fields not only enjoys evaluating livestock, but also breeding cattle that allow youth exhibitors the opportunity to see success while learning valuable life lessons and responsibilities along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome our judge for our Percentage Simmental show, Mr. Webb Fields. First call, Class 8 market steers. First call, Class 8 market steers. Official results from class number 5 of your junior steers. In first place, entry number 53, steer weighing 1,377 pounds, exhibited by Cashin Ellerbrock of Atkinson, Illinois. Second place to entry number 177, steer weighing 1,375 pounds, exhibited by Cale Shorter of Dexter, Kansas. Third place goes to entry number 120, steer weighing 1,378 pounds, exhibited by Denver McKay of Orlando, Oklahoma. Fourth place goes to entry number 160, exhibited by Drew Rice of Huntington, Indiana. Fifth place, entry number 124, exhibited by Tyler Neal of Bellevue, Ohio. Sixth place, entry number 109, exhibited by Lauren Loudermilk. Seventh place, entry number 84, exhibited by Cruz Hill. Eighth place, entry number 97, exhibited by Ashlyn Kelly. Ninth place, entry number 24, exhibited by Lane Byers. And 10th place, entry number 77, exhibited by Zach Hida.
Well, as I referenced yesterday in the Simmental show, it's not lost on me how special it is to pick up a microphone in Freedom Hall, specifically within a breed that I grew up in a junior association that I grew up through, as well as my siblings, and hoping to raise my kids through the same association. And so I'm tickled pink just to start out to be here. Interesting class in our percentage Simmentals. To be quite frank, I think there's a lot of give and take a lot of give and take structurally as we work through these calves, and a lot of it will just depend on how they grow. They're obviously very young. We land on the pair of females up top that I just felt the best about in terms of not only performance and stretch and look, but also structurally, even though there's some give and take within the pair as well. Young lady's got a very striking one to lead off, as we alluded to. Performance, stretch, look are all in this one's favor. As we also allude to, I think this one gets around the ring with a lot of flexibility and comfort throughout her skeleton. Not perfect in terms of stability, but I feel like all the angles there are just going to allow her, as she gains more weight, to set down the right way. And again, from there up, she's just really good in terms of her center body cavity and the way she pulls it together. Very, very striking heifer in second that's a little stouter in terms of her structure down low. I love this one's look in her rear structure, how big-footed, how heavy structured she is, and just the angle from her hock down and how she addresses it is beautiful. She complements that by stopping and planting really roped up front with a really long level view down her top line. Two things for me: as good as I like her rear structure, she does just work a little straighter from her shoulder down, and she's just not as robust and soft back to her flank as our class winner. Interesting breeding piece moving forward. I talk about structure differences because, young lady, this strip face one is very, very good standing there, and that's why you're in third. You do a great job of presenting her and getting her prepared, and just standing there on the hoof. That one's really maternal and feminine about her head, neck, and shoulder. Really progressive in terms of her body shape. I love the balance. It's just on the go she's got to get a little better to move up. She really wants to toe, get forward up front and toe out, and I really want to adjust the way she hits the ground, specifically on her pasturing. Again, hopefully that doesn't get any worse, because it hadn't hindered her ability to be as good as she is there. Again, she's got to hit the ground a little different for me to get her in the top pair. Heifer coming in next is bigger and stretchier, like our first and second place heifer. I like the femininity and the balance she comes with. She's a little shallower and harder in her body compared to the one in third, and that's another one. Structurally, we just got to lay back everywhere and make her more comfortable. Young man's got one that gets out and really steps with a deep heel, which actually plays to her deficit. At this stage, I just call that probably too weak. I want to strengthen her up in terms of her pasturing as much as anything. That one's a little flatter and greener in terms of her center rib, but again, one that's comfortable going at the moment, one that's really attractive on the top side of her skeleton. Young man's got a nice balanced one that we've got to get going a little better off either end. She toos a little up and down, specifically from her shoulder down, gets a little plainer about her head neck. Very practical red heifer with a ton of performance that I just want to make her more attractive and genuine in her muscle shape. We round out with a moderate frame, powerful one that is very genuine. Simply put, the one I'd probably design structurally and from a look standpoint the most. Good way to start out the percentage Simmental show. Congratulations on a really nice winner.
First call, Class 8, market steers. First call, Class 8.
I think we've got an extremely powerful set of steers on the top end of this class. I think the calf that wins the class, he does a lot of good. That calf's extremely sound as he gets around the ring, and I think that's why he wins the class today. He's got a great hawk in him. I really like his foot at the ground and the way he covers real estate as he moves out. Exceptional. He's a calf that's very soft and smooth to the touch as we get our hands on him. I don't know that you can appreciate how big hip this calf is until you're right up on him. His pin bones are about 2 feet apart. He's got a gigantic hip in him. I like his width of chest, his forearm, his back. Just a really nice calf. Maybe doesn't have the look that the calf in second does, but I think he's just the combination. Very competitive, nice calf, young lady. The calf in second, I like this one standing still as good as any of them. He's got a tremendous amount of muscle in him. He's an extremely trim calf. Just when we study how nice he is up through his head, neck, and shoulder, and he's got some width, some expansion in his rib cage. Calf, when you get behind him, he's got a great big quarter in him, tremendous amount of muscle. I need this calf to just go a little freer off his hind leg to be more competitive. That one moves better off his hind leg today. He wins the class. Extremely nice calf. Now here's the calf in the class that's very intriguing. Again, one I don't know that you realize how much power he's got till you get up on him. We have not seen a bigger backed, bigger hip, bigger ended one all day. This thing from right behind his shoulder, he just explodes with muscle all the way to his pin bones. Very, very impressive when we get behind him. He's got a huge foot, tremendous amount of bone. I like that shape and expansion to his rib cage. I need to change this one up through his front end. Gets a little steep and straight up front. Maybe just lengthen him out to get him more competitive. But that's one impressive individual right there. You know, this yellow and white calf, when he came in the ring, I thought, man, that one might win the class because standing still, I just like his squareness, his boldness. He's a short back, just perfectly balanced in his rib cage. I like that calf's shape over the top side of his skeleton. I like him when I get behind him, standing still. It's when he moves. He's wanting to get a little outside of himself. He's pushing pretty good on the move off his back leg, but that one's a square-built, chunky-made individual. I like the calf next in line as well. He just gives up some in terms of his rib flank and his forerib depth today when we compare him to some of the other individuals. I think this is a very high cut ability kind of a calf. He's got a great big top in him, plenty of muscle, just gets a little harder bellied for me today, maybe a little steeper and straighter up front, but you got to like his extension. Again, the young lady gets him stuck as good as anybody out here on the profile. Here's another boxy built, big-legged one coming next in line. Again, extremely stout. We need to just smooth this calf up a bit, but he's one that you really like. When we get our hands on him, he just gets a little bit hard to the touch for me today. Just a little hard-muscled, but I like him in terms of just his style and balance. Good calf. The black calf next in line, he just gets a little piecey for me today. I'd like to change the way his shoulder lays into his forerib, but again, he's one that just stands on a tremendous amount of circumference of bone. He's got a huge foot, plenty of shape. You like him up through his neck. We need to just change him in his shoulder and forerib, make him more competitive today. Nice job, young lady. Calf next in line is a long-sided calf. Looks like he's fed extremely well. He's got some condition when you get your hands on him. He's a calf, though. He just gets too flat to be competitive today. Just a little lighter muscled than some of the other ones directly above him, but that's a good-sided, high-quality one as well. I like the yellow calf next in line. He just gets outpowered today. I don't think he looks like he's got enough bone and enough true shape when we get him out here amongst his contemporaries, but you like his forerib and flank and his soft look. Really a good feeding one as well. Young lady's calf that rounds out the class. He's no slouch as well. This was a high-quality class with a lot of steers that were awful good up above, and this one's no slouch. He's got plenty of muscle, plenty of shape and length. Looks like he's fed okay. We just need to soften him up in his lower one-third to make him more competitive.
Second call, Class 8 market steers. Second call, Class 8 market steers. First call, Class 4 percentage Simmentals. First call, Class 4 percentage Simmentals. Results of class number 1 of your percentage Simmental heifer show. In first place goes to entry number 200. SHRP KCSB Naturally Merrily 115M, exhibited by Kaisley Cox of Aberdeen, Virginia. In second place goes to entry number 202, SNS Cowan Desiree 4633M, exhibited by Caitlin Sherman of LaGrange, Indiana. Third place goes to entry number 198, HLVW 24 Carat Shine 2410, exhibited by Grayson Ruber of Georgetown, Kentucky. Fourth place goes to entry number 199, exhibited by Jocelyn Rupert of Lanark, Illinois. Fifth place, entry number 201, exhibited by Nathan Alexander of Bremen, Alabama. Sixth place, entry number 204, Griffin Hopf. Seventh place, entry number 207, Christian Siegel. Eighth place, entry number 194, Tyler Lundy.
Well, we ratcheted up a notch in terms of upper end quality, in my opinion, within this second class. And we've got a very close decision here in the middle that I think can go a lot of different ways. It was always these two heifers when they hit the ring. I think these things are impeccable in terms of presentation, quality, and look, with minor differences between the two of them. I elect to go with the heifer in first because I'm going to call, I think she's just got maybe what I'm going to call a notch more future. There's just a little more stretch there, in my opinion. She's a little longer everywhere. She's a little more roped up and extended up front. She's a little longer spined, in my opinion, to go with how comfortable and flexible she is throughout her skeleton, to go with just all the body and density that she's got in her center cavity. She might just be a little more genuine, in my opinion, in terms of width as well. Specifically, if you study the two cattle over their hip, I think there's just a little more of this heifer, specifically long term. Now, if it gets close and you want to switch them, she is just a little longer everywhere, so she gets a little tight in her heart there. She's just not as filled in right behind her blades. When we get her stretched out, and you did get her a little more stretched out there at the end, I think it makes her look that much better because she collects herself a little better with a little more stretch there in terms of her legs. Really, really big-time heifer. Big-time heifer in second. That one is dialed in terms of presentation, and again, she's got an advantage there in her heart because that one's as good as any, just in terms of depth from forerib back to flank, the amount of balance she's got in her undercarriage, and how awesome she is in terms of her transition from shoulder to forerib to center rib. She's just beautiful in the way she puts it together. She, too, in my opinion, is impeccable on her feet and legs. As we talked about or alluded to just a second ago, I don't know that there's as much cow there. I don't know that she's quite as extended. I don't know that she's quite as naturally muscled as the heifer that gets around her. But again, if you just like how bulletproof she is in terms of balance and switch the pair, not going to argue with you. I got into this trio that I think is interesting, and I just quite frankly lined them up how I liked them. If this one's not big enough for you, I'm not going to argue because, quite frankly, I wish she was a little bigger, at least projected to be a little bigger, because she does look like she's going to be a little cow, in my opinion. Also, in my opinion, I think she's going to be a very good little cow. That thing gets around the ring with a lot of comfort and flexibility throughout her skeleton. She's got a lot of volume. She's balanced. She's attractive. So, again, study that one in a bubble. That one's really good. Study her in this class just needs to be bigger. I just felt more comfortable leaving in third because, quite frankly, of the remaining cattle, she's my favorite. I really like a lot of things about this heifer coming in four. She just doesn't put it together quite good enough for me. She's really long extended up front. She's got some additional size and performance. I wanted to call her a little flatter, but get in behind that heifer. She's as round-ribbed and powerful as any in terms of her muscle. Again, she just doesn't put it together as nice. She gets up in terms of her hooks in relation to her pins, just not as smooth as how she blends her pieces. And I think I wanted to call her a little flatter because she does flatten to her base. But again, she's got some good shape up top, and I still think she's good enough in terms of performance to start her in four. The heifer in five is awfully flashy. This young man does a good job, and she's well presented and well down the line here to have one looking that good standing still. It's her spine that worries me long term. She's a little nervous out here, which doesn't help, and the young man's done a good job of sticking with her. But when she goes, she really wants to duck her pins, get up underneath herself, and pop up her spine. So I worry about her skeleton as we progress. Standing there today, she's powerful, she's good looking, just want to change that. We get into a heifer that's real practical in terms of body density and kind. She gives you a nice balanced look. Structurally, she needs to be stouter in terms of her foot and bone and go more stable out of her pasture. And young man's got another one that's really good cowy look through her center body. She's feminine about her head and neck. She too needs to be stouter at her base to help that one structurally. We wrap up with two heifers that are good in terms of just having some shape and power to them. Two heifers I want to change structurally and just give them a little fancier look to work up the class. Really good top pair. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Third and final call, Class 8 steers. Third and final call, Class 8 market steers. First call, Class 4 percentage Simmentals. First call, Class 4 percentage Simmentals. Results of class number 6 of your junior market steers. In first place, entry number 25, steer weighing 1,399 pounds, exhibited by Kenzie Campbell of Corydon, Iowa. In second place, entry number 96, steer weighing 1,382 pounds, Caden Kaysen of Wheatland, Wyoming. Third place, entry number 198, steer weighing 1,385 pounds, exhibited by Cole Van Beeter of Manon, Indiana. Fourth place, entry number 99, exhibited by Mason Kinney of Norwalk, Ohio. Fifth place, entry number 178, exhibited by Madison Shout of Piedmont, Oklahoma. Sixth place, entry number 114, exhibited by Andrew Matthias. Seventh place, entry number 37, exhibited by Rowan Cooper. Eighth place, entry number 98, exhibited by Landon Kirkstra. And ninth place, entry number 20, exhibited by Elizabeth Blackburn. 10th place, entry number 64, exhibited by Addison Gettinger.
Very nice first division in your percentage Simmental show, and really similar in terms of the dynamics of both classes. I thought pairs of heifers that got to the front end of their two classes pretty quickly. We talk about our class 1. Young lady's doing a good job and got a bright future for her in this young calf. That one's really good on her feet and legs, good bodied, has some extra extension, which we like, and youthfulness, which we like at this stage, and just really practical in her kind. We talked about big breeding pieces in that second place heifer. The foot and bone and the angle she's got from her hip hock to the ground, I think is impeccable. The extra reach and look up front she can give and the balance down her top line. Big time pair out of this second class. I thought they were really good, and I thought they were straight offs, obviously, as we just talked about. I'm pleased with both of those two. As competitive as the 4 are, we're going to keep this class 2 together. They'll be champion in reserve.
Second call, Class 4, percentage Simmental. Second call, Class 4. Third and final call, Class 4 percentage Simmentals. Third and final call, Class 4 percentage Simmentals. Second call, Class 9 market steers. Second call, Class 9.
Well, I think we got a really, really nice one to start this class. This is the kind that when he walks into class, he just grabs you and, you know, you just kind of can't take your eyes off of him as you're judging the class. You just got to keep looking back at him just because he looks so neat. A calf from the moment he walked in the class, I thought, man, it's going to take a really good one to beat him. Just his presence and just his athleticism, his build, his muscularity. I really like this calf. You get your hands on him. He's mellow to the touch, been fed extremely well. Really nice calf. If I'm going to get really critical of him, I just want to change the distance between his nose and his eye just a bit. But that's an awful good one. Really nice calf to win the class. You know, and then the calf in second, as you start to analyze this one, he's got a lot of good about him. He's bold in his rib cage. When you get up behind him, he's definitely one of the more muscular calves in the class. From the top side of his shoulder back all the way through his hip, that calf just explodes with muscle and shape. You know what's wrong with him? He's missing a hair coat. If this thing had a hair coat like a few of these in this class, he'd look tremendously stouter than he already is, and I think he's plenty stout, but really nice on his calf. Maybe he doesn't have the presence that the calf that wins the class does, but I think that's an awful good one. I like the quality and just the overall style and the balance of the calf that comes in third. This one, when we just set him parked on the rail, you can't take your eyes off him as well. He's really neat in his underline, level down his top. His neck comes straight out of the top side of his shoulder. He's got some width and dimension. Where he falls short of the two steers above him, though, they're just so much more powerful. That's a muscular steer, but those two just take it to a whole new level. That's an awful good calf. I like him for his overall quality. Then we get some two calves next in line in 4 and 5, I think, that are really good. This black and white steer that we put forth, when we get this one parked, he's in contention for being a class winner. This one, his shape and his dimension and how smooth he is built from his shoulder to his forerib, from his forerib to his flank to his hip and quarter. That calf is just so smooth and transitions so beautifully. Got a tremendous amount of bone and a good look. It's when we ask him to go that he just gets too tight in his pastern, maybe just wants to waddle just a nickel off his hind leg. If we change that, that one's hunting the top of the class. It's an awful nice calf. We just need him to go better off his rear, too. Same goes for this black baldy steer next in line. I like this calf. The young lady's done a phenomenal job showing him and taking care of him. We just need that calf to be more flexible at the ground as he moves, but he's very muscular, shapely, smooth built, been fed well, presented to a T. Nice calf. I like the red calf just for all of his extras that he's got. He's long-necked, he's big-boned and big-footed, got a big square hip in him. He maybe just gets a little out at his shoulder for me today, just not quite as smooth made as those steers that get out there in front of him. That's a good calf. We probably need to ask him to go just a little more soundly off of both ends, but really nice one as well. The calf that's coming next in line, he's a powerful rascal. He's long-bodied. He weighs a bunch. He's a very practical kind of steer in terms of his build. He's sound. For me today, he's a calf that just loading up a little more up through his chest, and he wants to break in his loin, and he just gets a little too high in his tailhead today. That's an awful good one as well, though. You just got to appreciate the quality when we're talking 7, 8 deep in these classes. That's a nice calf. He just got in a class with some heaters at the top. Calf coming next in line. Here's one that's very trim in his overall makeup. If we were taking a calf like this to the rail, we'd call him the high cutability steer. Gonna have an awesome yield grade as he's chuck full of muscle, got nothing underneath in his lower 1/3. He'll cut well. You like that, but it also makes him at a disadvantage because he just needs to be a little softer today to be more competitive. I like the calf next in line as well. Again, one we're going to change structurally, just free him up off his front end and give him more reach as he gets out and goes. But that one, there's one there that's got some muscle. When we get our hands on him, he gets a little raw right there over his 10th, 13th rib. He's just maybe just a little harder to the touch today. I like the next 3 calves that come in line for their overall length of body. I think in terms of muscle, they're well above average. We just need these cattle to be a little more correct on their feet and legs today. Nice group of steers.
Second call, Class 9 market steers. Second call, Class 9 market steers. Results of your Class 2 percentage Simmental heifers. In first place, entry number 212, TCLC MEO 430M, exhibited by Tyler Miller of Atlanta, Illinois, with a weight per day range of 4.01. In second place, entry number 215, SNS TSSC, Maine Miley Cyrus, exhibited by Eli Walther of Centerville, Indiana, with a weight per day range of 3.88. In third place, entry number 218, Camelco Queen 2410M, exhibited by Gus Wilt of Bloomingburg, Ohio, with a weight per day range of 2.9. In fourth place, entry number 219, exhibited by Jamie Hoblin of York, Nebraska. Fifth place, entry number 220, exhibited by Garrett Roush of Spencer, Ohio. Sixth place, entry number 214, Elijah Beath. Seventh, entry number 221, Tolson Howard. Eighth place, 222, Annalie Myers. At ninth place, entry number 211, exhibited by Blake Houseworth. Congratulations, your Division 1 champion goes to entry number 212, exhibited by Tyler Miller. Your reserve Division 1 champion goes to entry number 215, exhibited by Eli Walther. Congratulations to your champion, bred and owned, also exhibited by Tyler Miller. This is your second call, Class 5 percentage Simmentals. Second call, Class 5 percentage Simmentals. Third and final call, Class 9. Third and final call, Class 9 market steers.
Well, we start our next division, similar in my opinion to that last class and last division, how it lined up with 2 on the top that I think are exceptional. And again, it was these 2 throughout that I knew I was going to have to work down and make some calls on. Young man's heifer up front is just absolute smooth as glass in the way she puts herself together. She's so fresh. At this age, she's so fresh and youthful and attractive, nose to tail, how everything blends. She's stouter than you realize. As good as she is on the profile, she's stouter than you'd think when you get behind the heifer. And so she's just so good and so high quality and so smooth. And I do think she's got a structure advantage. If you'll look, I think she toes forward a notch better up front. And although both heifers are very sound, our class winner's really deep and soft and stable how she sets her pasture. I love this heifer in second, and she's probably a bigger, stouter, burlier version, which I appreciate. I like all the boldness. I like the extra power she comes with, and it's very impressive how stout she is, yet how smooth she is, and the way she blends herself. Again, we just run into one that I think is just a notch smoother, and then again, as we allude to, you'll catch her when she stops and plants. She gets a little wide there up front, toes out just a little bit. Again, sound, but maybe not quite as cushy and stable out of her rear pasture. Again, that's a big-time heifer to be trying to pick some holes in to talk differences. I really like this little star snipped heifer. She's as smooth as glass once we get her stopped, too, on profile. So maternal and elegant about her face, her eye, her neck, her shoulder. The way she blends back is awesome. She's just got to go better, in my opinion, to get into that elite top 2. Although sound, and I love her angles once she stopped, she's just a hair tighter everywhere going, not as stout featured down low as the pair ahead of her. Really nice kind of heifer that just kept working her way up, because this is a no-holes, meat and potatoes heifer. And again, I say that in a good thing. She's sound. She's really bold and good-bodied. She's got enough look to her. Again, when we're talking about an elite top trio, she's a little coarser about her shoulder, a little harsher in terms of her forerib, just not as extended, ladylike, and smooth as that top 3. I had 2 heifers come in the ring originally, and I was waiting for a second. I thought the class would be bigger, and was told that there was a heifer loose, and we were waiting on her. What was this one? I'm glad you caught her, young man, and got out here. This is a good heifer. She's deep-heeled, soft-moving, big-footed, heavy-structured, good-bodied, real good-looking. Her combination of center body to neck is really attractive. Just a few more holes in that one, tighter in her forerib, more closed through her chest floor, just so we're not quite as smooth, but good heifer. Glad we got her in the ring. Star-headed heifer coming in next, and the next pair have structure issues, contrasting structure issues. This one's bold and stout and still attractive, in my opinion, in her lines. She's just got to go better at her base. Heifer coming in next is another big, stout one that's still real good about her head and neck. That one's got to go better in her spine to get any higher within this class. Young man's got a start-headed one that's really nice. He's done a good job of getting her ready, does a good job showing her. I love the balance and femininity. Simply put, she's just got to catch up with this class in terms of center body. If she'll hit another gear, you're going to work yourself way up the class. Red motley face coming in next, very powerful. Needs to be a ladyer-like in her muscle and neck and the way she goes. We've got a practical built one in terms of her skeleton that's just too plain in her looking shape. Round out with a real power one. That young lady, I think that's going to be a good one for you in terms of breeding value, because that one's got a lot of shape yet balanced down her top line. Just got to go looser to get her any higher within this class. Another real good one, another real good pair on top. Congratulations to your winner.
Third and final call, Class 5 percentage Simmentals. Third and final call, Class 5 percentage Simmentals. It's your first call, Class number 6. First call, Class 6. First call, Class 10 market steers. First call, Class 10. Official results for class number 7 of your junior market steer show. In first place, entry number 167, steer weighing 1,409 pounds, goes to Reagan Rogers of Savannah, Missouri. In second place, entry number 119, steer weighing 1,409 pounds, exhibited by Denver McKay of Orlando, Oklahoma. Third place goes to entry number 51, steer weighing 1,410 pounds, exhibited by Delaney Eden of Ramona, Oklahoma. Fourth place, entry number 39, exhibited by Kara Cummins of Hollis, Oklahoma. Fifth place, entry number 94, exhibited by Haley Jark of Fairmount, Indiana. Sixth place, entry number 38, exhibited by Braden Cummings. Seventh place, entry number 208, exhibited by J.C. Yelton. Eighth place, entry number 6, exhibited by Bella Ballard. Ninth place, entry number 115, exhibited by Carsden McCramer. 10th place, entry number 185, exhibited by Jarrah Smith. 11th place, entry number 59, exhibited by Mitchell Freeman. And 12th place, entry number 197, exhibited by Caitlin Van de Weel. This is your second call in Class 6, percentage Simmental's second call, Class 6. This is your second call, Class 10 steers. Second call, Class 10 steers. Results of class number 3 of your percentage Simmental heifers. In first place goes to entry number 226, RP CMFM Wildfire M6, exhibited by Wyatt Phillips of Maysville, Kentucky. In second place, entry number 223, DTHHTSSC Carmen 4036M, exhibited by Callie Baldwin of Winchester, Indiana. Third place goes to entry number 232, DADC Looker M241, exhibited by Riley Moon of Comer, Georgia. Fourth place, entry number 239, exhibited by James Jackson of Paris, Kentucky. Fifth place, entry number 234, Mason Butte of Hope, Indiana. Sixth place, entry number 236, Hadley Benter. Seventh place, entry number 237, Kenley Knotts. Eighth place, entry number 224, Nathan Hill. Entry number 225 in ninth place went to David Prip. 10th place, entry number 229, Ethan Larimore. And 11th place, entry number 233, exhibited by Heidi Hughes.
I think really an impressive class all the way through. Undoubtedly, this was the heat. And if you ask everybody, their steer weighed 1449. So I think everybody in this class was jockeying for position either at 1449 or 1450. It always entertains me when they all weigh the same. It's kind of fun. But I think we've got 5 or 6 on the top end of this thing that are extremely, extremely good. But for me, there's one that just jumps out and says, I'm going to win the class, and that's Amenity. Came through the gate. He was kind of in 5th gear, and he never really slowed down. I'd actually like him to slow down just a bit. I know you're trying. If he was a horse, he'd be the one you'd want to ride out checking cows because he'd have you home in no time. But that thing can move. He's got gigantic feet, big legs. I love how smooth made he is, how his body wall transitions into his shoulder. He's got a great big hip in him. He's a calf that's big backed. Just really puts a lot of good together. I think when we view him from the side, there's a calf there that balances up ever so neat. He's not a freak by any means, but he's just a big-legged, smooth-made, muscular piece of livestock. Really nice calf. Then we've got a calf in second. Maybe got a little bit more look to him. When we get this thing on the profile, his neck comes straight out of the top side of his shoulder. I mean, he's a good-looking rascal, one that's really sound like our class winner. As he gets around the ring, he just takes a long, fluid stride and just grabs ground as he grows. Maybe not quite as bold right there behind his shoulder, maybe not quite as big in his top, but that's an awfully good one. The calf coming in third, the yellow steer. If I could change the way this one moves and off his hind leg right there at the ground, he'd have maybe been hunting second place. I love him from his shoulder back. That one's just perfect bodied. You can't build a rib cage better in one, and when he's standing still, he just has fat steer written all over him. Powerful, very well conditioned calf that just needs to go a little better off his rear too. I like that one awful well. The calf coming in fourth, again, he just got in a tough class. This one got in a different class, he'd be winning it today. He's a boxy built, short-backed, muscular one that stands on a big foot, has a tremendous amount of bone, just maybe isn't quite as massive, maybe isn't quite as much as the 3 above him, but that's an awful good one. I like the balance and symmetry that comes next in 5. This calf, when he's out there on the profile, he's just so good looking, so smooth made. He just needs to be more muscular today to be more competitive, but that's an awfully good one. He's sound as he gets around the ring as well. The black calf coming next in line. There isn't one today I think we've seen with as good a hip and just muscle coming right down his top. It almost works to his disadvantage. When we get our hands on him, that calf gets a bit raw, gets a bit hard, but that's a big back, big-ended one. Just want to soften him up a nickel, maybe free him up off his hind leg as he goes. But that one's got a neat presence and a lot of power. Lot of power. I like this yellow one as well. You know, this was a tough class. I could see this calf moving a little higher up for me today. He just gets a little pinched in his forerib when you get right up on him. Doesn't transition quite as well from his shoulder to his forerib, but that's a calf that's got a big hip, a good hind leg. He moves good. He just gets a little harder right there behind his shoulder. Tough class. That was an impressive group of steers. Calf next in line is one that's been fed extremely well. He's got a lot of extension up through his front end, extremely easy to look at. For me today, he just kind of is running the wrong way in terms of the design of his underline. He gets a little deeper in his chest, a little tighter in his flank. We just need to change him there. Good calf as well. The yellow calf next in line. Here's one, doesn't have a lot of leg hair, but he's chock full of muscle as well. Maybe doesn't handle to the touch quite as smooth as some of those other calves above him. He's just a big, muscular individual, just a little raw today for that weight. Maybe change him off his hind leg. Young lady's calf bringing up the rear. That's a good calf as well. He's got some length, got some extension. He's sound enough. Just gotten a really powerful class today. This is no slouch. That's an awful good steer. Be proud of him. Congratulations.
Third and final call, Class 10 market steers. Third and final call, Class 10.
Well, as we continue on in our percentage Simmental show, a lot of contrast, I think, throughout the lineup. To me, the heifer that leads off in this particular scenario is special. Her body to neck ratio is incredible. Again, we talk about cattle that fill into their forerib appropriate, that have a very maternal, bold, functional swoop to their center body, the way she feeds back to her flank, and then the projection of just quality, balance, and attractive look from her head, neck, shoulder is impeccable, impeccably presented, impeccably shown. Just a really comfortable place to start for me. The real pair in here is 2-3. I think this is where the sword is. And on the profile, I switched the pair because this heifer that's going to be second does get a little lazy there behind her shoulder. Her hip sits in a little higher than her shoulder, and so she just doesn't give you quite the level balanced look of the heifer in 3. I sort it the way I do because I guess I just feed in or gain a little more breeding value, in my opinion, in this heifer in 2. Her best look is when you get off to a 3/4 view. See how square she sets them down. See how genuine she is about her rib shape and muscle. And then her combination of having that genuine shape of rib and muscle, yet being very flat-shouldered, ladylike, another one that's extremely maternal about her front end. I just think there's a bunch of value in that, not to pick too many holes about her top being level, and that's why she's 2. Young lady, the heifer in 3 is awfully solid. Another meat and potatoes kind of heifer, and that's a good thing. Balanced, practical. She in her own right gives you a very nice look, and we alluded to just how strong she is in her top line, how level she is out of her hip. Big feet, big legs that go good. I just think she studies just a hair plainer. Not quite as neat about her neck and shoulder, filled into her chest floor a notch more. Although she's rugged and stout, maybe not as genuine in terms of upper rib and muscle in the heifer in 2. But again, a very practical, very good one, very quality one there in 3. We get into a pair of cattle that come in next that I'd probably just adjust a little bit in terms of look and structure. Heifer in 4 is another deep-bodied, high-performing, balanced one that's big down low. That one, to me, probably more than anything, is just a shot plain. She studies more mature and plain about her head and neck, just doesn't give the look of the cattle ahead of her. Young lady coming in next is one that is a little more youthful and fresh about her front end. I like that about her. She can give you a real balanced, attractive look on the profile. We just need to pry her apart in her skeleton and make her more genuine and bolder in the lower portion of her rib to get her higher. Streak face heifer is where we start, again, into some structure issues, in my opinion. Striking female from the side that's got some density of body and muscle. Just want to see that one go a little differently off of either ends of her skeleton. Real green, high-performing one coming in next, the sharp down her top line. A heifer that needs more body in relation to her added frame. A moderate frame, big-bellied one coming in next that needs to go looser out of her hip down. Red heifer is impeccable in terms of her hair quality and the way they've got it dialed in there. Coming in next, high-performing, balanced, stout. Again, another heifer I'd change structurally and make her more ladylike about her front end. Moderate, powerful, traditional colored one coming in next that I want to make more ladylike and extend her out. Wrap up the class with another good one. That one's moderate and stout, not without quality. Simply put, she's just not as attractive, not as bold everywhere as some cattle ahead of her.
Results of class number 8 of your junior steer show. In first place, entry number 70 with a steer weighing 1,439 pounds, exhibited by Delaney Geyer of Robinson, Illinois. In second place, entry number 184 with a steer weighing 1,449 pounds, exhibited by George Sinclair of Williamsburg, Iowa. In third place, entry number 92, a steer weighing 1,449 pounds, exhibited by Macy Jacobson of Osceola, Iowa. In fourth place, entry number 108, exhibited by Landon Lawson of Paxton, Illinois. Fifth place, entry number 21, exhibited by Alyssa Borson of Zeeland, Michigan. Sixth place, entry number 80, exhibited by Harley Henley. Seventh place, entry number 161, exhibited by Jayla Reiser. Eighth place, entry number 110, Lauren Loudermilk. Ninth place, entry number 140, Destiny Potter. 10th place, entry number 136, Emma O'Neill.
Fun division to work through. I think both classes had a lot of give and take throughout. I think I had some numbers out here, had a lot of different things we can do, had some competitive, certainly a competitive pair in our first class, certainly a lot of intrigue in the place, and two very high quality females out of our second class, and so made it fun to sort through. The heifer that wins the first class, I think, is special in my opinion at this age. As we talked about in class, her ability to blend herself from nose to tail so well and so comfortably, both on the stand and on the go, is just very, very impressive. And that class wasn't without challenge, because that's a very good second place heifer. A different kind, in my opinion. Lots of power, lots of stoutness, lots of burliness, but yet uniquely puts it together very, very attractively. And then her heifer out of her second class, I love her giant pieces. And it starts with just the softness she has through her center cavity, in combination with how she can project her front end to the roof, is awfully impressive, and she is very dialed in terms of presentation and freshness today, and can give you as big a look as any. So just that gigantic, soft, cowy rib cage in combination with her attractive look is impressive. To discuss some differences, I don't know if she's quite as strong there in behind her shoulder, or just quite as level and balanced from there, but again, I'm nitpicking on one I like a bunch. And we talked about the breeding value in that heifer that was second. She's as unique as any in combining general rib shape coming out of her spine all the way into her lower cavity with genuine muscle shape, with yet a fresh, quality, maternal look about how she handles her muscle. So she's very impressive as well. Excellent division. I'll show you the two I like best. Please give these kids on the Percentage Simmental side of a round of applause on showing some elite cattle.
Second call, Class 11 Market Steers. Second call, Class 11 Market Steers. This your third and final call, Class 6 Percentage Simmentals. Third and final call, Class 6 Percentage Simmentals. First call, Class 7. First call, Class 7 Percentage Simmentals. Your Class 4 results of your Percentage Simmental heifers. In first place, entry number 252, winning her class, and also Division II Reserve Champion honors. WCCO CLAC Bernice 84M, exhibited by Emma Woodard of Cambridge, Ohio. In second place, in class number 4, goes to entry number 244, XTB Mona Lisa M22, exhibited by Tylee Elmore of Waukomis, Oklahoma. Third place, entry number 245. BOSC Summer M367, exhibited by Genevieve Sheets of Jefferson, Ohio. Fourth place, entry number 250, exhibited by Emma Gregory of Battleground, Indiana. Fifth place, entry number 248, exhibited by Peyton Klauser of West Point, Indiana. Sixth place, entry number 251, Lillian Smith. Seventh, 253, exhibited by Lane Simon. Eighth, 242, exhibited by Caden McKnight. Ninth place, entry number 246, Holly Marga. 10th place, entry number 247, Gavin Melton. 11th place, entry number 249, exhibited by Adam Eubanks. Congratulations to your Division II champion of your percentage Simmentals goes to entry number 226, RPCMFM Wildfire M6, exhibited by Wyatt Phillips of Maysville, Kentucky. Now exhibiting in the percentage Simmental ring is class number 5.
I think we've got one that handles the class very easily. Again, one of those, the minute he came walking in class, you just knew that one was going to win it. Extremely fault-free, a lot like some of the other calves. I think the Grand Drive's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm going to be first to say this thing's going to be way stouter than it was last year. I think we've already seen some class winners that it's going to be a steer show here at the end, but I just like this calf. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. He's got plenty of muscle in him. He's got an awesome rib cage in him, sound as he gets around the ring, big hipped. The young lady is really doing an awesome job showing him. I don't know if maybe she's a little too critical. I'm just waiting on her, and finally she got his front foot where it needed to be, and man, he looked awful good. Nice job. Good calf to win the class. I think the calf in second might have an advantage just in terms of his presence up through his front end. This calf's neck ties high out of the top side of his shoulder. He's virtually got no chest for a 1,400 and something pound fat steer. Calf's got an awesome design. If you want to see one that's presented to a T for a colored one, when you get upright on him, the boys did a nice job getting him ready. Calf that's extremely sound as he gets around the ring. Maybe just not quite as powerful, maybe is not as much middle as the calf that wins the class, but that's one that's got a tremendous amount of quality, real neat to look at on the side profile. I like the black calf coming in third as well. Gives up some in terms of overall power. That's one, though, that you really got to appreciate for his balance and just his look on the side view. He might get a nickel straight and steep up through his front end today, but I think that's getting awfully critical of a really good one, like the way that one's got that cobra neck in him and his ears just sit out there and he just tells you, hey, look at me, look at how good I am, and really nice calf. Like I said, just give up some of the power today. Calf coming next in line. Now there's one that's got the power and muscularity. When you study him right down his back, through his hip and through his quarter, this thing is just chock full of muscle. Got a lot of shape and dimension up high. He's a calf, though. We need to change him as the way he goes off his rear, too. Wants to hawk in just a nickel, get just a little bit tight in his ankle as he goes. That's a nice, nice calf. The calf next in line, this is one of the more muscular ones we've seen all day. He's got a giant top in him, lots of turn and shape to his hip, carries that muscle all the way down to his hock, just gets a little tighter made today. He's a little harder muscled, tighter hided one. Maybe handles a little bit that way as well. Very impressive, though, in terms of that shape and dimension. I like the brockle face one quite a bit. I just need to change him up front. He gets a little straight off his front end, wants to stand up there on his tippy toes, but from his blade back, that's a bold rib, big top, big-ended one that moves good enough off his hind leg. Just need to change him up front. I think he moves a couple places higher today. That's a good calf the young man's got there. This black and white steer, he's a beast. When you get behind him, he's really big-backed and big-ended, got a lot of base width, a lot of third dimension to this one's skeleton as well. You catch him at a 3/4, he's just opened up and extremely stout. We need to make him a little easier going, too, off of both ends. The red steer next in line, he's just a good feeding one. He's perfect in his forerib and flank. He's a calf that's leveled down his top, maybe just not as muscular and powerful as some of the others in the lineup, but that's an awful nice calf. This was a stout class, guys. Like I said, that just keeps getting stouter as they get heavier and more mature, and I like the one that rounds out the rear of the class as well. Just gets a little flatter in his design, maybe higher in his flank. They got his flank built, did a nice job presenting that one, but I think when we study his true underlying balance, that one gets deeper in his chest than he is in his flank, but he's an awful good one at that. Nice class.
Second call, Class 7, percentage Simmental. Second call, Class number 7, percentage Simmentals to the makeup arena. This is your third and final call in Class 11 market steer. Third and final call, Class 11 market steers.
Good class, and probably easier to place on top than throughout. I'll tell you, 3 through 6 is a head scratcher for me. I'm not foolish enough to tell you I got it right. I'll just kind of talk through what I saw, and you like them how you like them. Do feel comfortable with the top pair, and specifically the heifer we land on. That's another one that just oozes quality and maternal value, in my opinion. She's so comfortable and square how she sets her lower skeleton when stopped. She's so comfortable how she uses her skeleton when pulled to lead. And then again, her head, neck, shoulder in combination with how smooth she puts it all together in that big square hip and some nice round meat animal shape out of her lower quarters. Just very impressive how smooth and balanced that one is. Baldy in second's got big pieces. I like that one a bunch. She can go very athletic and reach and go very well, obviously, as she's pushing the young lady around. That one's as genuine in terms of rib and muscle as any, and in combination with a loose skeleton, natural shape, and the look she can give you up front is impressive. Simply put, she just doesn't do it as smoothly as our class winner. I'll be the first to tell you this heifer in third's got to be more ladylike. She paddles up front I want her to be more maternal in terms of her look, but young man, you guys fit the mess out of this heifer. She is dialed in, and there's a lot of good to her. I like her back leg and how it hits the ground. I like all the density of body. I like the balance she projects. So she gives you a good look. I want to see her more ladylike. She's got to go better out her front end. I commend you for having her dialed in. Heifer coming in next is one that I appreciate of the remaining three, that she's just more youthful and fresh in terms of her appearance. I like that about her, and that's why she worked herself up over those cattle. She looks fresher out here today. She's real genuine and stout in terms of her rib and body. Two things, I'd make her softer in her center cavity because she does give up some density to the next two heifers, and she stands just a little wide. I think she's sound enough, but she's maybe not quite as loose and gets outside of herself just a little bit. But freshness and youthfulness sorts her over the next pair. Heifer coming in next is a pair of two heifers that are very cowy bodied, very moderate, very maternal and soft in terms of their kind, yet still balanced down their top line. So I like them both. I'd lay their condition on them differently, make them fresher at this stage, make them a little more genuine in terms of natural shape. Specifically, the heifer coming in next of that particular pair gets a little waistier up front, a little wider in terms of how she stops them. Red heifer is completely different. That one's extremely feminine, extremely good in terms of her look up front. The length of and balance she's got down her top line is impeccable. And this young lady does a good job of getting her presented. That one, simply put, just needs more body. She needs to catch up in terms of center cavity in relation to her added frame.
Official results for class number 9 of your junior steer show. In first place, entry number 169 with a steer weighing 1,479 pounds, exhibited by Riley Rogers of Searsboro, Iowa. In second place, entry number 95, steer weighing 1,461 pounds, exhibited by Sydney Julian of Frankfort, Indiana. Third place, entry number 164, steer weighing 1,467 pounds, exhibited by Jackson Rapon of Mount Airy, Maryland. Fourth place, entry number 1, exhibited by Haley Allen of Wyoming, Illinois. Fifth place, entry number 91, exhibited by Jack Ireland of Waukee, Iowa. In sixth place, entry number 8, exhibited by Cade Banter of Eaton, Indiana. Seventh place, entry number 206, exhibited by Aubrey Wood. Eighth place, entry number 18, exhibited by Olivia Birchmeyer. This is your first call. All first and second place market steers. First call. All first and second place market steers, please make your way to the makeup arena.
Kind of an interesting class. I think the calf that starts the class for me, there's just something about this one's presence and his power and look that I just like. I mean, he's a massive bugger when you get up on him. He is so pulled apart in terms of his skeleton, stacks a ton of muscle on it, and for having that much muscle, that one can get moved. He can move. He might get just a nickel tight on the move, but I think it's just he's not relaxing. When he kind of relaxes and just puts his head down a little bit and goes, kind of softens up in his back and reaches out and covers ground pretty good. But I just like how opened up and powerful he is. Sure, he's got a little extra shoulder in him, but I'll tell you what, when you get behind him, probably don't mind that shoulder because he's packing a caboose to go with it. Super big legs, awesome hind leg. I like that calf. Like the red calf as well in second. This one from his shoulder back, he's just super good in his forerib, really deep in his flank. I think his underlying balance is really nice. Got a good hip and hind leg. Awesome hind leg as he gets around the ring, flexes from his hock all the way to the tip of his foot. And I guess for me today, this calf might get just a little rigid up front. Angle of his shoulders just a nickel steep. He could just reach a little better and maybe just gets a little plainer when we compare him to the steer that wins the class, but that's an awful good market steer as well. Young lady does an excellent job showing him. I like this calf in third as well. He's got a lot of shape and dimension down his back through his quarter. He's been kind of tough to show too, hasn't just relaxed and let his top down and just come out here and moved. I think where he's at a disadvantage compared to the two steers directly in front of him, he's probably not quite as agile and flexible off of both ends as they are. Nice calf, though. Very good look. Same goes for the calf that comes in fourth. Young lady does an awesome job getting him stuck as well. He's got a lot of extension up through his front end. He's level topped and level hipped. Again, one that we just need to free up on the move, make him a nickel more flexible. But that's an awful good steer just in terms of design, muscularity, and overall composition. Did a nice job feeding that one. Steer comes next in line. Here's one that's just kind of a meat and potatoes kind of calf. He's got a ton of muscle from his shoulder all the way to his tail. Just big backed and lots of shape and dimension. What we need to do with this one, though, is just free him up a little bit. And I think it is because he does have all that muscle. He's probably just not flexible enough off either end. He could probably use a hoof trimming as well. I think that would help him move quite a bit better. young man's black baldy calf next in line. There's a soft middled one, calf that's got some shape and dimension. He's one, though, that, again, we just need to change him structurally and make him more flexible off of both ends to be more competitive in this drive. But I do like the body, the power that one possesses. Really an attractive striking calf in the silver calf that comes next. He might be one of the more attractive ones in the class as we compare him to some of the other calves above him and below him. For me today, though, I just need to have this calf be more rugged in his design. We need to stand him on more bone, give him a little bit more foot. He's no slouch, though. He's got a lot of quality, a lot of good looks about that one. I like his balance as well. The white steer's got a tremendous amount of length of body. He's one that looks like he's fed well. He's just a calf, though. He gets a little plainer in terms of his type and kind when we compare him to some of the other steers above him. And for me today, when I got my hands on this calf, he just got a little too harsh in his condition for this stage of his maturity and weight. Calf probably ought to be packing a little more condition over his rib cage today. Need to free that one up off of both ends as well. The black steer next in line, here's one that you like his look. He's one that's just extremely attractive. You just gravitate towards a calf like that when you got him out there on the profile. We need to lower him in his rear flank just to make him softer in his body today to be more competitive. Calf rounding out the class, we just need to change him in terms of his structural makeup off of both ends, but you really got to like that one. Young man's done a good job feeding him. He's got him presented. Calf's chuck full of muscle. Think he's a good steer. He just got in a heat that's extremely tough.
This is your first call, Class 8 and 9 percentage Simmentals. First call, Class 8 and 9 percentage Simmentals. Results of Class number 5 of your percentage Simmental heifers. In first place, entry number 262, Wallace Yolanda 388L, exhibited by Sashi Darling of Fairgrove, Missouri. In second place, entry number 259, WFS Miss Laney 378L, exhibited by Jillian Brown of Louisville, Ohio, with a weight per day of age of 3.11. In third place, entry number 263, ADPR 54L, exhibited by Cody Olson of Nowata, Oklahoma, with a weight per day of age of 2.74. Fourth place goes to entry number 256, exhibited by Callie Ray Childers of Hartsville, Alabama. Fifth place, entry number 257, exhibited by Delaney Bates of Sebawing, Michigan. Sixth place, entry number 255, Addison Ward. Seventh place, entry number 264, exhibited by Emma Martin. Now exhibiting in the Simmental ring is class number 6.
Good class. I love this top end. We're 5, 6, 7 heifers deep, a big time good. And our class winner doesn't want to participate, but to me it's one of those things, don't overthink it. That's an absolute animal. Just impressive when she hit the ring and just how stout she is, how big she is. But study that one in terms of her skeleton and the way she can go. Study that one from there up in terms of that volume and size, yet how she blends it is special, in my opinion, within this particular scenario. Again, just don't get too smart. Use the good ones. Red one's also awfully good and wants to act better. Young lady, you are showing her impeccably. Another very good animal just in terms of her structural integrity, the maternal sweep that she's got, the look of balance and quality she shows with. And then that's another one, to me, is stouter than I probably give her credit on the profile. I was wanting to call 3 stouter than her. I don't know. It's splitting hairs. So that's just a real good one. Maybe just not as wild in terms of the extra stoutness and feature and extra tightness of neck of our class winner. I'd be very proud to own the red heifer. Heifer in 3 is another one I'd be proud to own. That one's really good in her feet and leg structure as well, and the flexibility she's got throughout. That's another stout featured, good bodied one that's really intriguing how she holds her neck. and head high at the top of her shoulder. Just comes in a few more pieces in elite scenario, in my opinion. She's tucked up a little tighter in terms of her flank, maybe doesn't blend her shoulder back into her forerib just quite as neat as those cattle ahead of her, but a very, very high quality one standing in third. Another one that's extremely impressive, dialed in, well presented and shown, is this heifer in 4. On the stand, one of the best ones. Tucked up into her chest floor, very neat about her front end, dead level, and comes with extra shape of rib and power, which I appreciate. It's on the move where she just falls into 4, in my opinion. Just too upright on either end, breaks and gets tight there in her loin. Just want to loosen that one up, and she can move her way up in this class. Hurt me a little bit to finally have to pull my star-headed one here. This one in a bubble, I love. Look how soft she is about her face, how sleek she is about her neck and shoulder, how dead level, how comfortable she goes. This young individual does a great job presenting her like that. At some point, she just ran out of gas, young lady. Not big enough, not enough heifer. I love that kind and think she makes the kind that can win Louisville down the road if we can just stack up a little more performance. Red Baldy, I told you this class was 6-7 deep. I don't know where we are. This was one of them I was talking about. Red Baldy's good. That one's good on her feet and legs in terms of reach out of her rear structure, brings forth some power and natural substance over the top side of her skeleton, her hip and her lower quarter, and still blends it together very nice. In an elite scenario, a little plainer up front, a little wider over the top of her shoulder, just not as unique in her pieces as the cattle ahead of her. Maybe still very, very good animal. This, I think, is going to win a lot for you, young man, down the road. Good meat and potatoes, solid kind of female that you'd like a bunch of coming in next. Again, flexible in terms of her skeleton, very maternal in terms of her body and view from the side. Love the extra length from nose to shell she brings forth. In relation to the Red Baldy in front of her, I just thought she was a little plainer in terms of her chest floor, a little frailer at her base in terms of her foot and bone. Very good cattle to be this far down in the lineup. Young lady's coming in next with a growthier, extended, performance-oriented, stout-featured one that needs more body in relation to frame, and I want to make her looser off either ends of her skeleton. Red heifer coming in next is stout-featured, needs to be a little more ladylike about her shoulder and give her more body depth to make her more pleasing from the side. Then we wrap up the class with 2 heifers coming in next that need to change them structurally and make them a little more feminine in their feature. Young man's got him a nice one that he's circling here to wrap us up that's really good on her feet and legs. I love the femininity and the levelness of spine. She just gets outmassed, empowered, and classed within this particular scenario.
Once again on first and second place. Attention in the barns, all first and second place market steers should be in the makeup arena. Once again, all first and second place market steers, you are needed in the makeup arena. Official results of class number 10 of your junior market steers. In first place, entry number 58, with a steer weighing 1,516 pounds, exhibited by Cody Ford of Pataskala, Ohio. Second place, entry number 22, steer weighing 1,510 pounds, exhibited by McKenna Burmeister of Rowley, Iowa. In third place, entry number 30, steer weighing 1,499 pounds, exhibited by Brian Clapp of Leroy, Illinois. In fourth place, entry number 49, steer weighing 1,488 pounds, exhibited by Elizabeth Dice of Smithfield, Pennsylvania. Fifth place, entry number 82, exhibited by Victoria Heiler of Bucyrus, Ohio. Sixth place, entry number 48, exhibited by Tommy Dewey. 7th place, entry number 106, Parker Lewis. 8th place, entry number 61, Gracie Gasper. 9th place, entry number 42, Addison Darledge. And 10th place, entry number 60, Caden Gardner. This is your third and final call, Class 8 and 9 percentage Simmental's third and final call, Class 8 and 9 percentage Simmental's. This is your first call, Class 10, first call, Class 10 percentage Simmental's. Simmental entry number 354 to the makeup arena immediately. Simmental entry number 354 to the makeup arena.
I think we've got a really good calf on the top end of this class as well. They're big and mature, but I think these cattle are still acceptable in terms of their weight. And the calf that wins the class, I mean, how striking is he? You couldn't ask for one to be better marked just in terms of grabbing your eye. Not one that's fun to take care of with white on his stifle joint like that. But that's a calf for me. He's just got a neat look about him when we get him out here and we watch him move around the ring. He's a show steer. He's just got that great look, awesome balanced, awesome looking calf that's got a big back leg, big sound foot as he gets around the ring. Young lady does a phenomenal job getting him shown. Good calf. I like that one awful well. Like the one in second as well. There's one that's got a lot of length and extension. Again, he's on the upper side of being a little big, but he's a big-ended one, big-topped one. Maybe doesn't handle quite as fresh over his forerib. You can tell maybe she's been holding on him for a bit. He's gotten a little raw there, right there on his rib cage, but that's a big, stout, big-legged one as well. I like the blue roan steer that comes next in line. Maybe just gets a little flatter in his design, I think, when we compare him to some of the other steers directly in front of him, but there's a calf. The young lady's done a nice job feeding him. He gets out and goes off of both ends, I think, relatively correctly. Nice calf. Calf next in line. This one's extremely fresh for this weight range. You just look at his hair coat. You get your hands on him. He handles really nice. Problem is, when he gets out here amongst these men, he just doesn't look like he's big enough and stout enough. Maybe if he is in a class or two earlier, that calf would have rose to the top. He just gets outpowered a bunch, but that one has got a lot of quality about him. Nice sound calf. Young lady does a great job getting him ready as well in terms of getting him shown. Young man next in line, he's got a big boned, really rugged individual. I think as we study this calf, he's got some power. You like all that shape and dimension he's got in his forearm. He's got some width of chest, and he just carries that dimension from his backside of his shoulder all the way to his pin bones. Maybe doesn't balance up quite as well as some of the other cattle directly in front of him. That's an awful nice calf as well. Calf coming next in line of the young man's. We just need to free him up a bit. Maybe a calf that's getting a little staler up front, getting a little chubbier and chunkier when we compare him to some of his counterparts. Again, high quality show steer though right there. That calf's definitely a competitor, maybe just not 100% today in terms of presentation and maybe where he could be in terms of his growth pattern, just getting a little staler today. Young lady's calf that comes next in line. If we could change the way this one gets around off his rear too, I think he'd have moved up the line quite a bit. She got him presented and dialed to the nines. He's big-backed and big-ended. Just gets a little harder middled for me, and I just need him to go with a little more comfort at the ground off his rear too. Next calf in line's an extremely long-bodied steer. Calf that actually needs more days on feed. He's a calf I'd say that just way too raw today. He needs another 60-plus days, and I think it would get him there. You got to like his skeletal build. Calf coming next in line's an extremely muscular one. Again, a calf that he's so wound up in terms of his muscle pattern, it maybe hampers his structural integrity a bit. Need to just free him up as he gets around the ring. But that's a big top, big-ended one. Two steers next in line are calves that have been fed extremely well. They've met their end point. Young kids have done a good job in terms of presentation with hair and getting them shown. They're just cattle we need to make them sounder today as they get around the ring. Nice class.
Nice class of percentage Simmentals as we progress. The red ballies, just good cattle. I like this one a bunch in terms of her feet and leg integrity, the extra shape of rib and muscle she's got, that big hip and loin she's got her, I think is impressive to be that sound and ladylike when she balances up. So good place to start and a little more of a layup in relation to this top pair compared to our last class. It was pretty tough on top. Young man's got a real striking kind of black baldy here in second. I love this one's genuine shape of rib and muscle, how much power she's got, how neat she looks on the side compared to our class winner, a little frailer in terms of her foot and a little snipier, less attractive about her head and front end. Heifer that's going to come in third of the remaining cattle. She's a little deeper and softer, more attractive in her set to her hock down to the ground than the heifer that's going to be behind her. Just a little plainer in terms of her look compared to our two ahead of her. Heifer coming in next is feminine featured, bold in terms of the spring to her rib, and real long and balanced down her top line. It's her undercarriage that I'd adjust. She's a little shallower bodied and unattractive in that extra hook she's got from her hock down. We wrap up the class with two females that are balanced down their top line, have some substance of power and muscle. Two females I'd change from a structure standpoint. Just make them a little ladier, a little more ladylike in how they lay their muscle and front end on.
Second call, class number 10, percentage Simmental. Second call, class 10, percentage Simmentals. Your results of class number 6, your percentage Simmental females. In first place goes entry number 279, L-Man J-Boy Cammy, 3185L, exhibited by Tanner Green of Mayville, Michigan, with a weight per day of age of 3.25. In second place, entry number 267, SIGR Strawberry, 3194L, exhibited by Glennis McGurk of Kingman, Indiana, with a weight per day of age of 3.21. In third place, entry number 266, Bailey's Katrina, 353L, exhibited by Reagan Burmeister of Rowley, Iowa, with a weight per day of age of 3.3. Fourth place goes to entry number 271, exhibited by Andrew Meyer of Clinton, Tennessee. Fifth place, entry number 273, exhibited by Bristol Bullen of Clinton, Indiana. Sixth place, entry number 278, Brent McIver. Seventh place, entry number 269, Wyatt Llewellyn. In eighth place, entry number 276, Delaney Chester. Ninth place, entry number 274, exhibited by Susanna Huey. 10th place, entry number 265, Eleanor Beck. And 11th place, entry number 277, Annabelle Rapp. And 12th place, entry number 272, Coy Ellington.
as we get into our division here on our percentage Simmental side, getting along in the day, and the cattle aren't wanting to maybe cooperate as nicely as they might have in the morning, but still, these kids are doing an incredible job of sticking with them and doing an incredible job of sticking some really good cattle. And it starts with our first class, this bald-faced heifer. It's another one that's just so smooth and soft in the way she blends everything, so feminine and maternal, so good in terms of head quality and neck and shoulder, and the way she feeds into her forerib, how soft she is back into her center cavity. Everything fits her very comfortably, both in motion and at the stop. In relation to the heifer right behind her, there's just not as much of her, right? She's a little more moderate in her kind, certainly genuine. There's certainly enough of her, in my opinion, for what's there, but she's just not that big, stout one right behind her. Baldy, that was second, is big-featured. She's round-ribbed. She's got some power, still attractive in the way she puts it together, and so a real good pair there out of her first class. I really wish this heifer in the center would act right for us, and I'm sure this young man wishes even more than I do that she'd act right, because she's giving him an awfully hard time. Even though she doesn't want to show this evening, it's pretty apparent, at least to me, how good that animal is. So big, so stout, so big-featured, yet puts it together, in my opinion, as good as any we've seen yet today. Red heifer behind her is incredible, and that was that real tough class. It was real deep. That red one had to fight through quite a few of them to get out here. Impeccable in terms of body dimension and structure, impeccable in terms of her maternal quality and just all the feature and quality that she exudes. In relation to a really tough set of cattle, she wants to run downhill ever so slightly in terms of her shoulder in relation to her hip, and maybe just a little plainer about her front end, although I think she's really good in both of those aspects. We got into the red and black baldies just a second ago. We talked about our red baldy class winner being good cattle, and that's accurate out here in this lineup. That one's as genuine in terms of just natural meat animal shape over her top line and hip and through her lower quarter as any. We talked about it being very impressive in terms of her ability to be that stout-featured, yet ladylike in terms of the way she balances, and just really good in terms of her structure. I don't know if she's quite as out there as the one right in front of her. I know that one's awfully good. And then we talked about the black baldy second, very deserving to be out here, and the young man's doing a good job sticking with that one. Really good in her center cavity, really good in just in terms of quality look. Impressive set of cattle. I'll go show you how I like this division.
Results of Class 11 of your 2024 North American Junior Steer Show. Your Class 11 winner goes to entry number 181, steer weighing 1,540 pounds, exhibited by Anna Sikafus of South Whitley, Indiana. Second place goes to entry number 131, steer weighing 1,650 pounds, exhibited by Emma Knoll of Crosswell, Michigan. Third place goes to entry number 67, steer weighing 1,540 pounds, exhibited by Marley Godwin of Prescott, Arkansas. Fourth place goes to entry number 47, exhibited by Mitchell Dewey of Harrison, Michigan. Fifth place, entry number 12, exhibited by Jet Beck of Clarks Hill, Indiana. Sixth place, entry number 122, Andra Music. Seventh place, entry number 85, exhibited by Haley Hillhouse. Eighth place, entry number 65, exhibited by Dalton Gibson. Ninth place, entry number 4, Cheyenne Baker. 10th place, entry number 32, exhibited by Kason Cole. Second call, Class 10 percentage Simmentals. Second call, Class 10 percentage Simmentals. This is your first call, Class 11. First call, Class 11 percentage Simmentals.
Just the two to kick off our next division, but two quality animals, well presented and shown. I elected to line them up with the heifer up front. I just think it's a little more attractive in the way she collects herself and puts it all together. Very long spine, very level down her top line, nicely presented, good shape to go along with a good look from the side. We'd maybe make her a little softer and just a little looser skeleton. I don't know that our second place heifer adjusts it or fixes us enough to switch the pair, in my opinion. That one in her own right is real dense and burly throughout her body and bone work, still yet balanced and level from her top side of her shoulder all the way to her hip, just a little plainer everywhere. Want to make her more ladylike, maybe a little more genuine in her shape.
This is your third and final call, Class 10, percentage Simmental's third and final call, Class 10. This is your second call, Class 11, percentage Simmental's second call, Class 11. And ladies, once again, as we're getting ready to slap our grand champion steer here at your 2024 North American, we'd like to welcome you once again to the Harold Workman Jr. Steer Show. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will recognize our current president and CEO, Mr. David Beck.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 51st North International Exposition. It's great to have all of you here, particularly those here that are competing. It's been a wonderful period of time. The quality of livestock is amazing. So we're excited about this week. Everything appears that we're breaking all records, so we anticipate probably over 200,000 people come through the doors during this period of time this year. The rodeo's been great. The partnerships, I'm so proud of our staff team and our leadership and exposition. All the team works together to that end. In just a moment, I want to just point out a gentleman to my left over, Mr. Harold Workman. Mr. Harold Workman helps put this thing together, get it started back, I think, in 1974. Harold, good to see you. Thank you for your leadership and for all the years of your dedication to get us where we are today in the livestock industry here in Louisville, Kentucky, that we're recognized worldwide. Also, I want to introduce one of our sponsors here, Michael Jenkins with Farm Credit Mid-America. They've been a tremendous partner in many things we do, but also particularly with the North American this time, and just really appreciate what they do. Besides serving their clients, I watched them down through the years, heavily involved in working with public policy of things that directly affect agriculture in rural America. Please make welcome to the microphone, Mr. Jenkins.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today at the North American International Livestock Exposition for the selection of the Grand Champion Junior Market Steer. My name is Michael Jenkins, and I'm an agriculture loan officer out of Russellville, Kentucky, and I'm thrilled to be here on behalf of Farm Credit Mid-America. For over a century, we've been supporting rural communities and agriculture with reliable financial services as part of the farm credit system. We're proud sponsors of this event with Kentucky Venues, and our support extends to programs like 4-H and FFA. These initiatives are vital as they build community leaders, equip youth with essential skills, and encourage diverse career paths in agriculture. Here at the North American, we see firsthand the dedication and hard work these young individuals invest. These lessons they learn in the show ring build their confidence and shape them into future agriculture leaders. A big thank you to Kentucky Venues for their meticulous planning and to 4-H and FFA for their outstanding partnerships. We're honored to be a part of your journey and your future success. Thank you.
At this time, we'd also like to recognize additional staff here joining us for the selection of your grand champion here at your North American. We'd also like to recognize Kentucky State Fair Board member, Mr. Joe Goggin, the current president and CEO, Mr. David Beck, and of course, the executive director of expositions and the GM of the North American, Ms. Corinne Fetter. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in putting our hands together, welcoming our faculty here to the show. And a big thanks to our sponsors, Farm Credit America. They are a farmer-owned lender, which is why they offer a range of loans and services designed to help farmers grow and prosper. We understand why no one knows a farmer like a farmer does. Learn more about Farm Credit Mid-America and hear from some of our farmers at fcma.com. Once again, that's fcma.com. So a big thanks to Farm Credit Mid-America, as well as Sullivan Supply for donating the product prizes right here in front of us for our top 5 steers. This is your third and final call, Class 11 percentage Simmentals. Third and final call, Class 11 percentage Simmentals.
Let's give a round of applause to our market steer exhibitors. You know, when I started seeing these cattle come out in the classes, I thought, man, this is a lot tougher deal than last year. You know, last year I thought there was one steer that just walked in here and kind of captivated me, and he needed to win rather handily. And I'll be honest with you, right? Hello? Okay. Sorry about that, little technical difficulties. I mean, what I was going to say is I got my top 5 picked right now, but I'll tell you what, this is tough. Undoubtedly the toughest situation I've ever been put in judging a show. I think we've seen a pile of good steers today. Cattle that they kind of fit my bill. They're good enough looking. They got big feet and legs. They get around the ring good. They're boxy built. They got an awesome rib cage in them, a big back, good enough looking, and like I said, they just kind of fit that mold. And I think if we just study all these classes out here, you'll kind of see that there's kind of a certain type and kind, I guess, a lot of us like, right? I'm not the only guy that likes these ones. I'm sure if we put somebody else in the situation, the same cattle would rise to the top. You know, it's been an honor to judge this show for the second time here at the North American out here on the green chips. You know, last year when I got home, my wife said, hey, you need to just set those boots on the mantle. And I didn't, and it kind of made her mad because they get a little dyed, you know, and she thought that'd be kind of neat to sit up there. So I think this year I'll take them and put them on the mantle, kind of a sentimental thing. You know, this isn't something I take lightly. I know all the hard work and dedication that goes into getting these cattle out here, and this is not an easy job. In fact, my wife and I were talking about it last night at dinner, and she said you couldn't pay her enough money to get put in this situation because it's just so hard, and is there ever a right answer, right? Everybody's got their own opinion of what they like, and you know, the one thing I want to do is just congratulate everybody involved. My hat's off to all the breeders that have spent countless nights calving and breeding, putting embryos in. We all know that those of us in the club calf business that it's not easy, right? It's not for the weak-hearted. It's for someone that's tough and doesn't mind getting up in the middle of the night, and you deal with quite a bit of failure, I feel like, trying to raise these ones that are just so exceptional. They're kind of, you know, they're the outliers for sure, but we're all in search of that. So my hat's off to you breeders. Anybody, you know, that knows any of them, congratulate them. This is a big deal to put a calf in this lineup. You know, and then the other thing I'd like to do is congratulate all the people that are getting these cattle ready. I mean, the presentation just keeps getting better and better. And, you know, again, last night at dinner, I told my wife, I said, you know, sometimes I just stand out here in awe looking at the back legs and the backs and how these cattle are clipped. It's just so impeccable. And, you know, the neat thing is all you guys and gals in the back getting them ready, you guys are role models for a lot of these kids here. You know, they're going to be our next generation. So my hat's off to you. And the parents, I've been there. I know what it's like to travel miles in search of one to, get him out in a ring to where he's going to be competitive. And, there's a lot of money involved to get here. And, anytime you got a kid, though, that's as dedicated as some of these individuals in the lineup, I think you just got to get them there, though, and get them the kind of cattle they need to be competitive. And so my hat's off to the parents and the families. And then the exhibitors. The neat thing is there hasn't been a bad face all day. All these kids, even the poor kids that went back to the barn. And that's a tough deal for me. Like I said, I know what it's like. I grew up doing this, and this is just such a classy group of kids. And I congratulate all of you. You've done a phenomenal job. Great showmen all throughout the show. And, one thing I always say with a steer show, you kids out here, you're kind of the face of the beef industry. When you really think about it, the people that live in town, they come to a stock show and they see these champion steers. And I'll tell you what, it's really a good promotion tool for the beef industry just to see, there's nothing cooler than a champion steer at a major stock show. So I commend you guys. That's something not to take lightly, Even if you're at your county fair, make sure you're respectable. And I think each and every one of you are doing a great job out here presenting, our form of agriculture to the general public. I congratulate you for that. So with that, I'm going to keep walking around these things and see if I can confuse myself a little more. As you probably saw, there's 3 of them standing right there in the middle that I just get drawn to. And I like things about each and every one of them. They're phenomenal cattle just in terms of their type and kind. And I think a guy could just stand there and nitpick them on all day and, say, well, I could do this and I can do that. But there's a couple of them I think that really fit together. The top 5 is going to be stout. I think they'd have given the run, anything in the top 5 this year would have been in contention for champion last year. So I'm going to leave on that note. Again, I've been humbled by this. I'm honored to have been selected to judge this 2 years in a row, and thank you.
And congratulations, your grand champion market steer at the 2024 North American from class number 7. It goes to entry number 167, exhibited by Reagan Rogers of Savannah, Missouri. And your reserve grand champion of market steer out of class number 9 goes to entry number 169, exhibited by Riley Rogers of Sealsboro, Iowa.
Well, thank goodness they were picking the champion steer on the other side, because quite frankly, this trio's tough, and it's tough for me specifically because the heifer that is my favorite, I thought about putting 3rd just because of the way she was acting. And so I hate to make you come back out here again with you. I just think she's too good and combines the 2 heifers behind her in a lot of ways, in my opinion. This angle is very impressive. The boldest ribbed, stoutest featured female, in my opinion, in terms of just natural rib shape, softness, the hips she's got, the way she blends it so incredibly. And as we saw multiple times, she's so athletic and comfortable in the way she works her skeleton. So she might just be a little fatter about her front end, about her neck, maybe not quite as whistle fronted. But man, that is a ripping good animal that I think puts so much good together, and just the mass that she has, and yet comfortability of skeleton and still balancing it the way that she does. Had to use her. Baldy coming in next is second because she's my absolute favorite on the profile. And young lady, it's not lost on me. If I was dragging one that looked like this, I'd be expecting to win the show. So understand that. That one's as comfortable and soft in terms of her feet and legs as any, as good in terms of body depth, of flatness of shoulder, of the way she holds her front end, of balance from their back. Simply put, she's got to be a shot stouter for me to switch that pair. When you get in behind the cattle, she's just a hair too flat in terms of her rib and muscle for me to switch that particular pair. My goodness, she's special on the profile. Young lady, I'm not smart enough to find a hole in your heifer, so I'm not going to say one. Simply put, I don't know if she's as special in terms of stoutness of her class winner or quite as neat in terms of just the profile of the one in second, but that one is awfully bulletproof and complete. She just kind of fell in that third hole because of the special pieces of 1 and 2. Heifer coming in next is good on her feet and legs, super practical, just not as out there in terms of quality, in my opinion, of the top trio. Still very high quality and very complete in her own right. Young man coming in next gives us just a shot more power. I like that about her. She's genuine in her rib and muscle. She's really good when you get in behind her, just in terms of having a little extra stoutness of feature down low and from behind in relation to the two around her. That one's just not quite as ladylike specifically up front. She kind of wants to toe out and just be a little rounder about her shoulder. We get back into a really feminine featured, sound structured one that's soft in terms of her belly and really long from nose to tail. I want to make her a little stouter featured. A little more heifer there when you get in behind her, a little more heifer there at her base. Baldy coming in next, young man. You do a good job of getting this one shown. She's presented very well. I commend you for that. That one's real stout featured and real dialed in terms of presentation and just from the side. She's just got to go looser off either end to get any higher for me. Red Baldy is a little more practical in terms of size and structure. I like that about her. We just ran out of cow. I got him over there, and there's just not enough of her in relation to the big stout Baldy coming in next. One that is good on her feet and legs and has some stoutness of feature, rounds us up. This is a very good heifer to be this far down. That one to me is just a little more terminal in terms of her look about her head. Needs to be older in terms of her overall body shape to get any higher. Extremely good class, very good top trio. Congratulations to your winner.
And congratulations, your third overall market steer here at the 2024 North American goes to Nalani Geyer of Robinson, Illinois. Your fourth overall market steer goes to entry number 184, exhibited by George Sinclair of Williamsburg, Iowa. Fifth overall market steer goes to entry number 25, exhibited by Kenzie Campbell of Corydon, Iowa. Once again, congratulations to all of our 2024 North American market steer exhibitors.